All right, yo, what's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to the Better Zone, getting you ready for a big Sunday of NFL action. Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, and Adam Ronis and Tom Casale. Here we go, Ronis. We are on to week six of the week six, right?
That
Week
is
six,
correct.
week six of the NFL season. Welcome in, everybody. Got some big games on the docket today. Mainly got a big one. Mainly the real big games this week, all beginning in the 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time slot, and a big one in Philadelphia tonight between the Eagles and Cowboys. Adam, what's going on with you, my man? Welcome to what should be a very interesting week of football. A lot of inactives and things going around today. What's up with you?
Yeah, a lot of lines that are close as well. A lot of injuries, bye weeks for fantasy. So should be an interesting slate today.
Tom, I got some fantasy lineups. You know what I'm saying? That I set this morning, and I was like, man, this doesn't look good. Going to be a rough week. How you feeling coming into week number 6?
Yeah, well, last night, I always check my fantasy lineups, and in one league I looked and I saw Chase Edmonds. God Almighty, I got to get him out of. give me somebody with a heartbeat. So bye weeks are starting. Adds to the intrigue and the fun. And it's an interesting, like Ronan said, I think it's an interesting day. There wasn't a ton that popped out at me, like for betting wise. I think there's some kind of weird matchups here. So it'll be interesting. I know, hey, Corey, we said it yesterday on Homecoming, maybe shake up Saturday, baby.
Yeah.
We got a little shake up. Let's see what happens today. Teams like the Jets, are they for real? We're going to find out.
All right, so let's get ready to hop right in and get started. Ronans, Buccaneers, and Steelers coming up in this 1 p.m. Eastern time window. Buccaneers laying 9.5 on the road. One of the more popular picks in the circuit contest this week. Not so much that people like the Buccaneers, but we've gotten to the point of the season where people are betting against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is something different from years in the past.
Yeah, and you can understand why their top 3 corners are out. Mika Fitzpatrick's out. And we've seen this defense without TJ Watt is just not the same. And they got crushed last week in Buffalo. We just haven't seen that big performance from the Bucs yet. I think we expected it last week, and it looked good early on with a 21-0 lead, but then the backdoor cover by Atlanta as it was only 21-15. We did see the offense get going against Kansas City 2 weeks ago. They have Mike Evans healthy and Godwin. Of course, no Julio Jones, but that's not a surprise at this point. But I do
after week 1.
I do expect the Bucs offense to light it up here this week.
Tom, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I thought it was poignant, and I think it's taking place. We got to look at the narrative around Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, much different than we have in years in the past. This team right here looks like it could be going for the top overall pick in the draft.
Yeah, and they just don't have much talent. I'm sure Ronas is a fantasy guy, probably agrees with me that, listen, it's not about the player. Najee Harris is a good player, but taking him in round 1 a couple years ago, when you have all these holes, I mean, whatever you think of the running back position, it's just not a priority when your defense is getting older, when you're losing offensive linemen. So I don't think they've drafted very well. And I think guys like Tomlin and you see what Pete Carroll in Seattle, they'll get the most out of whatever talent they have. But this just isn't a very good Pittsburgh Steelers team. And I think they're going to take it on the chin again today.
Let's head down to the Bayou. Cincinnati Bengals, another popular pick this weekend, coming in laying 3 points versus the New Orleans Saints. Total 42.5. No Chris Olave for the Saints. Andy Dalton starting. T. Higgins, Ron, has been a name that I've seen a lot of people struggling with putting in their lineups this morning. Obviously, you got to play him, but that donut was not appealing last time out.
Yeah, I have him in 2 leagues. I did start him. I mean, I kind of ranked him right around 22. So if you had someone comparable and you don't want to take the risk, there were conflicting reports on warm-up. One of the reporters said he looked like his normal routine, was running with the ones. Another reporter said it looked like he was grimacing at times. So we know there's a risk there. I played him. If you had a comparable option, you want to be safe, fine. But I'm not playing a wide receiver, in the 40 range for T. Higgins.
All right, and Tom, when you look at the Bengals offensively, they have not been as explosive as they have last year. Clearly, with an advantage today versus the Saints, a Saints team that's beat up. But when you think about it, man, I tell you what, this game right here sounds like it's going to be close. It's going to come down to the wire. And we already have our first touchdown of the day. And it's a defensive touchdown scored by Sauce Gardner of the New York Jets. That's right. The Jets,
Oh,
Jets continue
are
to
you
force turnovers, and
are
here
you
we
watching
go.
are you watching the replay though? Did that
No,
ball hit the ground?
Okay, maybe the ball did hit the ground, but
It looked like it did,
interesting.
right? What do you think?
I couldn't. I was talking. I couldn't. I was looking at. I
Oh,
was looking at
I
the
can't
screen, so I
tell.
missed
Yeah.
it.
it hit the
So
ground. It hit the ground. There
Yeah,
were
yeah, that's
nice.
not going to be an
it-
interception right
yeah.
there. So we don't have a score on the board yet. Tom, back to the Bengals. Their offense has not been up to par so far this season. Hasn't really seen the explosive plays. I think the Saints team may be able to stay close with them despite their deficiencies with injuries.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play this game. I think it's a game that the Bengals defensively can control. I just think there's too many injuries for the Saints. Interesting game, Corey, because it's one of those pros versus Joes games, right? Where the public is pounding the Bengals, and I can understand why. But I'm with you. Like I love Joe Burrow. I do. I loved him when he was at Ohio State. I followed his career, and I think he's a fantastic quarterback. But I don't not quite sure what's going on because there's a lot. He's not looking deep. Like, and maybe he's a little shell shocked behind that offensive line right now. But that's what I'm surprised about, because one of the things Burrow does as well as anyone is he notices one-on-one coverage, or we're kind of like Brady and Drew Brees, those guys. He can tell right away where to go with the ball, and I think he's struggling there this season so far. But this is a game the Bengals have to win to get right, and I agree. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Bengals win.
Indianapolis, Ronan's got a big spot right here. Jags and Colts, AFC South matchup. Colts laying a 1.5 at home. Total 41. No Naheem Hines, no Jonathan Taylor. Probably going to mean some bad things for one of my fantasy teams today. Nonetheless, it's not about me. It's about us. You know what I'm saying? And Jags and Colts, tough spot right here. But I do like the Colts in this one, to be honest. This is a good revenge spot, I think, for Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't feel good about it.
No, you
for
can't.
sure.
It's the Colts. You've seen Matt Ryan?
Exactly. The turnovers, the fumbles. I think this is what people do. The last time we saw the Colts, how bad did they look? And that image is stuck in people's heads, and they don't want to bet them. But, Jacksonville did not look good last time out either. So it's in Indy. They've had the extra rest. So I lean towards them. Deion Jackson became someone that was picked up. And he's off to a good start. He already has 2 receptions for 24 yards. I thought he looked pretty good in the game against Denver. Yeah.
I bet Deion Jackson over 14.5 receiving yards. So that might be home already.
It cashed already, baby.
Yeah,
bingo. Let's go.
2 for 24.
Right. Let's go with just like that. So that's always.
And here's the crazy part: they have come out throwing. They have not attempted a rush yet. Matt Ryan 6 of 7, and Pittman 3 for 16.
As far as this game right here goes, Tom, total 41 real low. But I think the Colts has been one of the teams that you have seen struggle on offense. Like a lot of teams have struggled offensively this season. I've been noting that the points. I've been noticed that the scoring is down in the NFL this year. The Colts are a team that's really been a big part of that. We've seen them play these duds of a game or something like that. This one right here is expected to be a low scoring contest. But like I was telling Ronald, I do think Indianapolis can get in here and get a W and even up the season series.
I agree. From a betting perspective, I always look at when does it change from when there was value on a team to where the market is caught up and the value's gone? And I think that's the case today with Jacksonville. There's been some games early in the season where there's been value backing them, but now I think the overreact against the Colts gives some value to Indianapolis at home, and I think they win this game.
That's going to be an interesting division going down the stretch. Could continue to say, do not sleep on the Tennessee Titans. I think they're going to end up coming out remaining the team to beat in that division, despite people writing them off this season, earlier this season, including myself. Cleveland Browns, Patriots. Man, I tell you what, Ramondre Stevenson, Ronan set up for a nice game. The only back, you know what I'm saying, that the Patriots have. The Browns can't stop the run despite laying 2.5 at home. I like the New England Patriots. I like Stevenson today. Bailey Zappi is the starter for the Patriots.
Yeah, both defenses have been vulnerable against the run. Stevenson already has 3 carries for 9 yards. Jacoby Brissett has already thrown an interception, and that's what you worry about here in this Browns matchup here against New England. Both teams are 2-3 as well. I mean, it's the Browns, trying to stay in it and stay alive in the division until Watson comes back. And they've had some bad losses. Their defense, to me, has not been what I thought it was. And I know they have a lot of guys missing on defense today as well.
That was one of the things that people said about this team coming into it. Obviously, wanted to help the stalwarts of this team is that defense has not been living up to expectations so far this season. When you look at these two teams, one of the things that people have always said about Brissett is game manager, good against the spread. That hasn't been the case so far this year, Tom, turning the football over and losing games.
Yeah, and see, the thing for me, and maybe I'm a little biased because I was in New England and used to hear some things on how we would game plan, but I think Bill Belichick is the best defensive coach to ever live. And I can promise you, he knows all the strengths and weaknesses when it comes to Jacoby Brissett because he drafted him, right? So I think that's a negative for Cleveland coming into this game. And you mentioned the defense is stopping the run. I think you're going to get a lot of running from the Patriots today. I just think, Belichick, I kind of like him in situations like this when he's down quarterbacks because he's able to scheme defensively, play the game a little close to the vest. It fits more of his personality than when he had Brady. I think this sets up well for New England today. I actually have them too, Corey, so we'll be rooting this home together.
Yeah, we will be. Actually, I took this the Pats on the money line. So
that's shocking, Corey.
What? Me taking the Pats on the money line? Yeah. Hey, this is a good spot for them right here, Ernest. I'm trying. Trust me, I think about it.
I've heard that for the last 5 weeks.
Hey, they're playing better than the last time we saw Mac Jones throwing them in the section.
Did you rip up that Mac Jones MVP ticket yet, or what?
All right, relax, Ernest. I got to hear this from you too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody with this Mac Jones MVP thing. When he win it next year, then you'll be like, oh, and then you're gonna take credit for it yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
okay,
hey, Ronald, and nobody asked you anyway. Let's talk about Packers and Jets.
I'm just curious, man. I've been hearing about it all the time.
Let's talk about Packers and Jets. Jets playing well offensively. They're looking for their third straight win or fourth straight win, maybe. Yeah, the Jets getting it done. The Packers, though, on the other hand, have always been Aaron Rodgers historically good after a loss. Embarrassed last week, should get back on the ball this week.
Should. I mean, it depends. I saw the line 7.5 earlier in the week. With that half, I take the Jets to keep it competitive. Packers just don't blow teams out either. Their offense is a mess. Like, I didn't understand what they were doing last week in the game against the Giants in London. They were running the ball very effectively, and Rodgers in the second half just came out, was chucking it deep. It wasn't working. It's like he was playing street football. So they need to get back to the run with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon here.
What do you think about this one, Tom? Jets and Packers. I don't have a play on it. But if I would have, it would have been with the New York Jets. It sounds crazy.
I have the Jets today. One of the things I look at teams so last week, they played the Giants. And one of the things about the Giants that I think went under the radar because people look more at head coaches, they hired Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator from the Ravens, right? So they have a good defensive head coach. And I thought they gave the Packers problems last week. And I look at the Packers and whatever's wrong, can you fix it in a week? And their receivers just aren't getting separation. They're not open. I don't think you fix that in a week. The Jets are playing pretty well. I think it's a close game. The Packers probably eke it out, but I took the 7.5.
Ronald, were you laughing at that Atlanta Falcon touchdown?
Yeah, I was going to say a Falcon touchdown. Scored a touchdown. It was not Kyle Pitts. It was Pruitt.
A Falcons touchdown did score a tight end.
Hey, Rodas, I got the other tight end in that game, George Kittle. What do you think about that? 42.5 yards. The Falcons have kind of struggled against tight end. Do you think he breaks out at all today?
Well, the touchdown for Atlanta is a good thing for you because you want San Francisco to maybe play from
behind. Yeah.
Look, Kittle is one of the best tight ends in football. The problem is they make him. He's such a good blocker. He blocks so much. I don't think he's had more than 7 fantasy points in a game this year.
Yeah, no, that's going to be tough right there. New England Patriots right now down on the goal line. Anybody sitting on a Ramondre Stevenson anytime touchdown scorer, perk your ears up. It could be coming early in the first quarter. Let's head to the Meadowlands. Baltimore Ravens, New York Giants. Really a matchup of two players, Lamar Jackson versus Saquon Barkley. Ravens laying 5.5 on the road. All over the Giants at home in this spot. Ronald's catching the 5.5. I look at this. Najee Harris gets in the end zone. I look at the Giants as a team that wants to stay close to you and try to beat you in the fourth quarter. Hopefully, Saquon can spring a play. But I think this is Jackson versus Barkley. I think it's going to be a good game. I think the Ravens do win, but I think the Giants keep it close and make it very competitive like they've been doing all season.
I don't. I think the Ravens
run all over
handle them. Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, the Giants have been unbelievable. Dable's a great coach. and it was a good win last week against Green Bay. Look, Baltimore has pretty much been ahead almost all of their games. They had the 2 games where they blew it against Miami in the fourth quarter, and Buffalo came back from 17 points, which again is not. Buffalo's really good. I know they have some issues, but I just don't see the Giants putting up enough on offense. Interested to see what Wan'Dale Robinson can do today. He is active, so that's something to keep an eye on.
So I'm curious your thoughts, Giants and Ravens at the Meadowland.
Yeah, this was a tough game for me to handicap. I know a lot of the smart guys are on the Ravens today. The thing, I think what you said, though, Corey, is correct. We always praise offensive guys when they're scoring 50 points a game. But for me, the sign of a good offensive coach is when he knows what kind of team he has. Dable knows he's not going to score 35 points a game with this team, right? I don't think he has the quarterback he wants. So I think you hit it right, Corey. His game plan for this team is stay close. Our defense is pretty good. Let's not turn the ball over. And those teams are hard to blow out. I lean the Ravens a little bit today, but I still don't think the Giants are getting enough respect in the betting market.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, it's one big ball. It's stay close and hope that Barkley hits a big play. Robinson, Nando. Robinson.
I am here if you want.
Here's the thing. That's why I'm saying. That's why I said Nando. Nando, oh my goodness, you would think it's the Corey, Nando, Wan'Dale, and Friends show.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Today's Sunday. I'm not usually with you.
I tell you what, though, Wan'Dale Robinson and Nando DeFino specialty. You know what I'm saying? He could listen. This is the one that the Wan'Dale truthers have been waiting for.
Hey, man, I started him in 2 leagues, not because I wanted to out of desperation.
Nando wanted to.
Yes. I mean, look, 14-team league with bye week issues and injuries. I put him in there. It was him or Slayton. I said, you know what? They drafted Robinson. I went to one of their training camps. They were using him a lot. So I'm like, all right, I know it's risky first game back, but I threw him in there just hoping he can get me 8 to 10 points, maybe find the end zone. So I know it's risky.
Yeah, he looked like he just had it looked like Jones just attempted to hit him deep down the field. Horribly thrown pass by Daniel Jones. Interesting one right here. Vikings and Dolphins, Tom. Vikings laying 3.5, total 45. No Tua again this week. Minnesota quietly looking for their 4th straight victory. Man, I do not like neither team in this spot right here. I'm not betting on the Dolphins with their quarterback situation, and I just see like a Kirk Cousins red zone and red zone interception in this game.
Yeah, this is Miami or nothing for me, and I think you hit it. The Miami defense to me could control this game. They pressure a lot. They could get to Cousins, maybe cause some turnovers. But when you're down that far at quarterback, some things have to go right for you. I wouldn't lay the points with the Vikings though.
As we say that, Kirk Cousins just barely avoids a safety in the end zone.
Yep.
Spoke him right up. You know what I'm saying? So we know what we're talking about when we say these things, because on cue, Kirk Cousins tries to give something to the Miami Dolphins defense. Tough game right there. Stayed away from that one. Rona's fantasy purposes, I see once again Justin Jefferson is a guy that everybody's all over this week.
Yeah, I mean, he had a down game early in the year.
Like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been lighting it up lately. The volume's going to be there. So, there's a lot of good receivers in good spots this week, especially in the Kansas City Buffalo game. But Jefferson is, he's going to get the volume every single week, and pretty good matchup here.
Final kickoff of this hour, Niners versus Falcons. Niners laying 3.5 on the road. Tough spot for the Niners. Was in Carolina last week. Do not believe they made the trip back to the West Coast. They stayed on the East Coast. Believe they may have been in West Virginia before traveling down to Georgia, Tom. And we've already seen the Falcons. Not only was that number steamed down from 6, I think it may have closed at 3 or 3.5 today. Everybody, sharp money, respected money all over the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta already with a touchdown on the board in this game right here. I'm on the Falcons big in this one right here. I think it's the play, and so far so good. What do you think, Tom? Niners and Falcons down there in Atlanta.
Yeah, I got the Falcons at +5 earlier in the week.
Good.
For me, I think it's going to be hard for San Francisco to lay more than a field goal on the road with their offense, because unless they're running the ball down your throat, Just don't know if Garoppolo is going to make enough plays in the passing game to blow teams out. So I would expect San Francisco to play a lot of closer games on the road, defense, run the ball. When you play that style, laying 5-6 points is tough. So I took the Falcons. The Falcons have been playing spunky this year, right? They're kind of like Jason Voorhees. They're hard to kill, but so I think they can cover this number at home.
Yeah, I was on San Francisco most of the week, but the problem I had continuing to back them is all the injuries they have on the defensive side of the football, and Bosa's out. And Atlanta is the lone team undefeated against the spread. So I switched as the week went on and saw that number creep down. But yeah, I did get it in my pool earlier in the week at 5.5. So yeah, I got Atlanta 5.5 there.
Ronald, I know you do a article every week on Survivor. What were some of the Survivor plays you got your eyes on for today?
I mean, Rams, Tampa, and who was the third one I gave out? Rams, Tampa. It was not San Fran. My goodness, who was it?
I would hope it wasn't San Fran.
No, it wasn't. I had San Fran last week.
Was it the Ravens?
It might have been, actually. They might have been the third one, yeah.
All right, cool. So we're off and started. We're off and rolling right now. A couple scores on the board. Patriots have a 3-0 lead over Cleveland. Atlanta with a 7-0 lead over San Francisco. The Saints also on the board, up 7-0 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh Steelers up 7-0 over the Buccaneers. So that's where we stand right now. Let's head out for our first break of the day. Come back, set up the rest of the day for you. Start to prepare and get ready for our first look at the leaderboard. Get some live lines rolling. You know how we do. You got questions, concerns, comments about the games coming up later on this evening, you can pop them in the chat. You can hit that call button, hop on here with us. We head out for our first break. It is the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
Moose and Keith with you. Let's welcome aboard right now, Iron Eagle.
One of the great stories that I have from doing notes on a plane, and you always get people looking over. They see color-coded uniform numbers, names, height, weight, age, background, hometown. And I had a woman sitting next to me on a flight, and I'm doing my notes, and she's kind of giving the look, then looking. And I can tell she's looking. And then finally, she'll say, so what is it that you do? Well, what do you think I do? She said, are you a wedding planner? I said, yes. I said, I have to put Rob Gronkowski at Tom Brady's table. I said, you know what? You're not correct, but it's the best answer I've ever heard.
That's great.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
Fantasy Life Fantasy Executive. It's going to be a football life. The Fantasy Executive is probably going to be the best football life ever.
We'll be the guest, everyone who was on yesterday, basically.
Yeah, everybody that's on yesterday will be the guest. Scott Ingram, you know what I'm saying? Adam Ronis. Yeah, everybody, those people. Because what Nando, obviously, you'll be there. You know what I'm saying? We'll go to the GST and shoot some scenes. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice.
We'll shoot some scenes in Midtown Manhattan. Antonio Brown can be on my football life,
That'd
right?
be nice.
Because that's a big part of my come up as a fantasy analyst. Everybody, the football life, the Fantasy Executive is going to be for the people. When they do the football life on the Fantasy Executive, I'm going to be hands on.
Good. Yeah. You talking to you.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Cheetos or Doritos?
I truly love both. Cool Ranch Doritos.
Wow.
I grew up on Cheetos. I was a big Chester Cheetah guy.
Oh, nice.
But Ray, as I have aged into adulthood, I've moved away from the fun that is the Cheeto, and I've gone to the more cosmopolitan Cool Ranch Dorito chip. So I'm probably a Cool Ranch guy. How about you?
I would go Doritos. I don't like Cool Ranch. The traditional, original, regular, whatever it is really good. But my favorite's actually the sweet chili, the purple bag. Oh, it's delicious. It's fantastic.
Yeah. The one that sucks, and I think we can all agree on this, taco.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things, and I'm perfect at a lot of things. My Dorito trivia is a little shaky.
Okay.
A little shaky. But I think taco is the first flavor.
Back is Pickett. Throws it to the flat. Najee's wide open. He walks in for that Pittsburgh Steelers touchdown. From 6 yards out, wide open, Pickett to Harris.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports.
All right, that Najee Harris touchdown, courtesy of the Pittsburgh Steelers radio network. Steelers up 7-0 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers right now in the red zone. Tom Brady just missed Cameron Brate on a would-be touchdown pass. See if they can get it done right now. 2nd and 10 in Pittsburgh. So that's where we stand right here as the Buccaneers try to, as the Buccaneers try to tie this football game up or at least get some points on the board. Already have one game in the books this week. Washington Commanders 12, Chicago Bears 7. Ronas, I had a tough week this week. It's like, you can't criticize Justin Fields, right? And I understand he is just getting into his second year, but I took a beating for criticizing Justin Fields on Thursday prior to the game. He was okay in the game, but still not effective. If you was to ask me, can he get better? Of course he can. Anybody can get better. Your thoughts on what we saw in the Commanders and Bears game, and what's your feeling on Justin Fields? I never had a chance to talk to you about that.
I mean, he holds on to the ball too long. I know he takes a beat. He doesn't see the field well. He doesn't go through his reads. He wants to take off and run. Now, I know he doesn't have a lot of good wide receivers. I think Moody's good.
They say he don't have no weapons.
He doesn't, but, he made some good throws in there, hung in there, took a beating, but he definitely has a lot of flaws. I mean, Mooney should have caught that ball cleanly. He didn't. There was pass interference on Pettis that they didn't call. But still, man, those are two awful, awful teams. But, yeah, Fields has a lot to do to get better.
Yeah, he does. So does Carson Wentz, Tom. He had 99 yards passing, did have a couple drop touchdown passes, hurt his finger in the game. Interesting to see what the Commanders do moving forward. But what was your thoughts on that game Thursday night, 12-7 victory for the Commanders over the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, well, see, the thing about Fields is, too, like, everything is all together. Like, he's on a bad team so now what he's doing is this. When he's holding the ball way too long, but he's looking at one read, right? He's looking at one read. It's not there. And then he's kind of he's not looking at any other reads. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. So then you're looking at, well, the Bears didn't help him out at all. So I think that really hurts his career, right? You see like a guy like Daniel Jones, who might not be the best quarterback ever, but he gets a good offensive coordinator, and he helps put him in situations to make him successful. Fields doesn't have that. Another dope head coach who hired a buddy of his who's never coached offensive football in the NFL, running an offense. I mean, it's just a joke right now what's going on with these coaches and Nathaniel Hackett hiring a guy I used to play with at Syracuse to run their offense. It's nonsense. It's just nonsense. But, here's the thing about Fields is that at what point is just his confidence gone? And I'll tell you this. I remember when RG3 was in Washington, and all I heard about was how bad the offensive line was. Kirk Cousins got there, all of a sudden offensive line wasn't as bad. Guys are open. They're always open. I don't want to hear that no one's open. The Giants are down to their 6-string receivers, and they're completing passes. There's got to be guys open, right? So I think Fields, I 100% agree that some of this has to be on him. There's guys open. He's not getting them the ball. But then you look at the other side of it, and the Bears have just probably destroyed his confidence by not putting anybody around him to help a young quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of give and take on both sides right there. Interesting to see how the young man career plays out. Obviously, wish him nothing but the best, but he got to start to get going right now because his quarterbacks in this draft too. You don't want to be in a Josh Rosen situation where you get a couple years and then next thing you know, you Baker Mayfield, or you know what I'm saying, or you Sam Darnold, or even worse, you're Josh Rosen. You know what I'm saying? And did anybody in his latest release did he get picked up, Josh Rosen?
I don't know if he's on the NFL. Is he, Ronas? Do you know?
I don't think so. I thought he got cut recently, right?
He got released recently. I don't believe nobody picked him up. So yeah, he didn't get to a second contract, but it didn't even get close. You know what I'm saying? So that Tampa Bay Buccaneer drive ended with a field goal. Just see where Cody York kicks a field goal to even up the score between the Browns and the Patriots. Ronas, I want to get back to Washington. You saw this week where Commanders owner Daniel Snyder, more or less, story comes out. He is basically going to say to the NFL, I got dirt on all you owners. You try to take my team away from me. I got private investigators following you. I will embarrass each and every single one of you. They don't want it. He wants a new stadium in Maryland or Virginia. Nobody wants to build him a stadium. It's just a sad situation. One of the league's premier franchises can't get out their own way. The name change was a disaster. Everything they do seems to not work. What is your take? What's going on with the Washington Commanders?
It's a disaster, man. On the field, off the field. It's just, I mean, they were fortunate to win that game. Now Wentz dealing with an injury. Maybe he misses time. It's just terrible. Even from a fantasy perspective, Terry McLaurin has underachieved. You know, Curtis Samuel, that was the prop everyone was on. And, of course, he dropped passes and only has 2 receptions. So, yeah, I mean, it's a mess all around for Washington right now.
You know, Tom, as Cowboy fans, you know, we want to see the Commanders at least be competitive. They don't have to be good or successful, but at least be competitive, for Christ's sakes. You know what I'm saying? And this is a disaster year after year after year after year. And it's like it's one of the most rabid fan bases in sports when they get it right. But what you're starting to see now is you're starting to see the building not sell out. Fans from the other teams packed the building. They got more Tennessee Titan fans was in their building last week than it was Commander fans. The Tennessee Titans, bro. It's the team with not too many fans they sell. Sad times in D.C., Tom.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm a football fan. I like to watch good football. Like, I'm more interested this year with the NFC East being so good, right? You know what I mean? Like, it makes for better games. I remember back, even when the Cowboys won those Super Bowls, they went into RFK. Washington didn't have a ton of talent. Joe Gibbs, that place was, I mean, the camera used to literally shake because they used to jump up and down on the stage. And I remember Dallas lost a game there late in the season in Washington. And when I was growing up, and even when the Cowboys were good, it was the place I hated playing at the most. I hated when they went there because it was just so tough to win in Washington. And like you said, Corey, now you're going there and you got 70% Tennessee Titans fans. That right there, that always tells you, because that starts to, you know, that really shows you, like last year with Joe Judge. Remember at the end of the year, nobody was at Giant Stadium. Listen, Giants fans bleed that team when they stop going to games. I mean, that really says a lot. So I always look at that stuff, and that's how far the Washington has fallen. But you're right. I wish they were better, but I think, I mean, how many teams are going to sign Carson Wentz?
You're right.
You know, is he the worst quarterback in football? No, but I don't know. Those are the types of things you got to look at.
San Francisco 49er fumble picked up by the Atlanta Falcons, scooped up, fumbled again, but recovered by the Falcons in the end zone. Atlanta possibly with a chance to go up 14-0 on the San Francisco 49ers. So
this is good for us. I mean, we got
really
the Falcons, and now, hey, listen, when you get down all these points, maybe you could just put in a blocking tight end and have George Kittle go out for passes. What do you think about that?
How about that, Tom? Then that should be.
You know, I remember. You know, then I don't. Hire the new Dan Campbell. Let him block. Let George Kittle go out and catch passes.
Oh man, I tell you what. Oh, I see where Bailey Zappi just fumbled, so I'm not sure what it was at on the field. But the
Bailey Zappi love affair is going to end today. Is that what's going on, Corey? You and I are going to take a bath on Bailey Zappi.
The Western Kentucky Hilltopper off to a slow start in this game right here. We do have 14-0 right now between the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. That down there, that
real,
game down
real
there.
Quick, Corey,
Go ahead, Tom.
I just wanted to get Ronus's thoughts on McLaurin. You know, obviously, I have him in a league or two, and it hasn't been. I thought he might lead the NFL in targets, but it's not happening. What advice do you give to owners who own him?
Cry.
Well, I've already done that. What's next?
Okay.
Whoa! The foot goat missed the kick.
Yeah, Justin Tucker. It was 56 yards, and the game wasn't on the line. If that was the fourth quarter,
too. The Meadowlands is a tough place to kick.
Yeah. The wind. We've been there at the wind. But if that was a fourth quarter game of line, he would have nailed that down the middle. So no needs were there. But yeah, look, you do have to worry if you have McLaurin right now because you got Curtis Samuel getting targets. I mean, this week should have been a good one, right? No Dotson again, no Logan Thomas. Obviously, Thursday night game We've just seen, I'm tired of saying it. I'm like, oh, the number's too low, 37.5. Everyone's on the under. Gotta stay away. And then it goes under easily every damn week. So said it the week before, Colts, Denver. Everyone's taking the under. Yeah, and it keeps going under every week. So we'll see this week. Thursday's Arizona and the Saints. We'll see how low that number is. But yeah, I think you got to be concerned right now. And let's see what happens too with this Wentz injury as well.
Yeah, that is something to keep an eye on because that's we can go back to Tyler Heineke next week. And listen, to be fair, Wentz has not been playing terrible.
Mm-hmm.
He's putting up yardage and stuff like that. But it's just like the turnover is coming and he's not winning. That's what's important as well.
Was it me or are they feeding Brian Robinson the football too much? Like it's like Rivera wanted to see him like this. I mean, it's a great success story, but like, shouldn't you be passing a little bit more when they're stopping the run? And Gibson looked better.
He's better. Gibson is a better player. That's crazy.
Ronis, it's funny you said that because they gave him the ball like 2 times, like in a 3-play span, and he must have gotten like 28 yards or something. And then they took him out, and they didn't see him again. Like, where did he go?
And then Rivera said afterward that they got to get him more involved. I mean, really? Like people, and then someone on Twitter's like, "Oh, he wasn't good last year." I'm like, he played through an injury last year. I mean. Come on, man. I don't get it. Like, get him on another
Don't you
team.
think something's going on there? Because
out
of nowhere, it's like it
started
like
in camp.
It's like all of a sudden everybody in the building hated this guy.
He's clearly a better player. I don't understand it, but you don't understand anything that's going on in Washington. That seems to be the problem, right? So because you even look at the situation with Ron Rivera's press conference last week. Hey, okay, why aren't you up there with the rest of the NFC East? And he's like, because of the quarterback. Yeah. Bro, you brought them his shoes. You brought the dudes here.
And also, do you realize that Cooper Rush and Daniel Jones are 2 of the other quarterbacks?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You got a team throwing the football to Noah Brown and a guy named Wandale Robinson. Like, what are you talking about?
There's one good quarterback right now in the NFC East, and he's pointing out the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. So, tough sledding. Another interesting thing that took place this week, Ron, is the Cam Akers situation with the Rams is very interesting, intriguing to say the least. I don't want to speculate on what's going on. They say it's it's not an injury thing, it's a personnel thing, but it's football related. So is it just like you think it's just like a matter of a disagreement, or you think he's going to be traded? Trade deadline coming up November 1st.
I mean, what are you going to get for him? A guy coming off the Achilles injury that it really hasn't done much. We know how running backs are just not valued as much. Yeah, it does sound like there's something that he's not happy about. Because remember, early in the year, week 1, he didn't play much. And it was, he's not paying attention to assignments and this and that. So he probably has like a bad attitude in practice and in film studies and everything. I remember there was a play week 1 where he barely went to go block a defender. So, I mean, it seems like that's what's going on here. And it sucks if you have Akers. As someone who has a lot of Henderson, I'm pretty happy, even despite seeing some of the reports that they might split it today. I would think Henderson gets the first shot. And we've seen the Rams, when they go against the bad team, they have success. When they go against the good team, they don't. And today they're going against Carolina, despite the coaching change. And, Baker Mayfield being out, I think they win. I don't know if they dominate, but it's good if you have a guy like Henderson.
On the milestone front, Myles Garrett just passed Clay Matthews Sr., for the most sacks in Browns franchise history at 62.5. So he gets it done early in his career. So shout out to Myles Garrett for that. That's interesting. Now that we talked about Rams, let's get into Rams and Panthers this weekend. Obviously, Carolina fires their coach, Matt Rule, out. Steve Wilkes comes in and he fires defensive coordinator. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, I wonder if Wilkes was like looking at him in the room, like, you know what I'm saying? If I ever got a chance to get this job, your ass is out of here, buddy. Like, he immediately gets rid of him. PJ Walker's going to start, you know what I'm saying? But at first, I was saying this is a Panthers win one for the Gipper, but I think cover one for the Gipper, Tom, might be more fitting.
Yeah, well, first of all, that Myles Garrett thing's pretty impressive because Clay Matthews was a phenomenal football player. So when you said that, I kind of raised an eyebrow. That's a pretty impressive stat. In terms of Carolina, I think it's a little different in college. Sometimes if you change a coach mid-season, because it's more of a rah-rah atmosphere. You get a guy in there, you get the troops all riled up. The NFL, man, it's a business. These guys know what it is. They know they're not going anywhere this year. I think a lot of them start to check out mentally. It's not like they don't show up to practice, but how invested are they in practice? Maybe that first game you get a little boost, but I don't know. I kind of think the Rams roll today. I'm with Rona. So you put a bad team against the Rams, and they're licking their chops usually. I think big days from their stars, and they win pretty easily.
You know, it's like, Rona, it's a lot of times when you see a Ram game, right? And, you know, it happens with the LA teams, you know, no real big fan bases, no real big followings. And then, you know, teams like the 49ers, the Cowboys, they go into Los Angeles and they take over the stadium, much like people do in FedEx Field. Now, the Panther fans are not going to fly out from Charlotte to Los Angeles to watch this Panther team. So the Rams have their building to themselves today.
They definitely should. I wouldn't travel if I was a Panthers fan to see this squad.
All right, so let's head out to our second break. When we come back, take our first look at the leaderboard, get an update on some scores going down right now. Do have the Indianapolis Colts in the red zone, AFC South matchup. They're trying to tie up the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll let you know what happens when we get back right here on the Bettor Zone.
Bettor Zone. Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network.
By the way, if you are a commissioner out there, if someone does not pay, that's on you at the end of the day. It sucks. That's why you have to get the money early, because if they don't pay, it's on you. You don't change the prize. A winner shouldn't be impacted because unfortunately you messed up as commissioner. And I've been caught with this before. I've made this mistake. It sucks, and I had to go out of pocket for it. You learn that maybe some of your friends should not be in that league. But Roan, we see it all the time with commissioner issues, and I can't stress it enough that when it comes down to league payment, it's on the commissioner if they don't have everybody's entry fee and someone decides to ghost them.
Yeah, I had to collect 36 entry fees this year. All of them were collected except one. And it was one of my friends who said he was going to pay the second. I forgot to remind him. He might even be listening, but I know he's going to pay. If not, I know where he lives. But nah, he'll pay. But yeah, I mean,
big brother Adam Rodas over here.
And even the guy that I've talked about before that usually always pays me at the end, he actually paid on time this time. He usually is like, I'll pay you on Friday, and then it doesn't come, and then it's 4 months later. And he always winds up paying. That's why I don't really get upset. But you've seen my emails. I don't play around. Like,
no.
This is the date. This is the date. You get it in by then. And I always, too, I'm like, the draft order will be determined when everyone pays. Right. So don't hit me up about the draft order. Once everyone pays, then the draft order will be done. And anyone who's been in this league, now Festy can't attest to this because he's never won money in my league, but the people who do win, they get it right away. Usually the next day or two. Just make sure the scoring, especially with football, no scoring changes, as long as it's not like a point victory, half a point, and then they'll get the money right away.
What about 2 points?
Yeah, I mean, wait it out just in case something crazy happens. I guess I don't wait till Thursday when the official scoring happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, a championship that I was in years ago got reversed, and I ended up winning on a Thursday stat correction.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. You hope it doesn't come down to that. If you're on the better end of that, it's great. But man, imagine thinking you won, you got the money, and then it changes. That's tough.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Second and goal here for Atlanta. Mariota floats towards the end zone. Hauled in. Touchdown, Michael Pruitt.
Garoppolo under center. They're going to hand the ball to Wilson. He cracks the line and pushes through the ball. Popped out. Terrell's got it. AJ. Did he step out of bounds or score? They recovered in the end zone. What's going to be the call? It's a touchdown. You've got to be kidding me.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL Game Day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, the University of Atlanta Falcons 14-0 lead over the San Francisco 49ers. Audio courtesy of the radio, Falcons radio network as they get on the board twice. 14-0 lead versus the San Francisco 49ers. Back-to-back weekends for the 49ers on the East Coast. Interesting to see how this one plays out. That's one that we're sweating right here on the Better Zone. I want to know what you're sweating as well. You can hit that call button. Let us know inside the chat what's going on with you. That drive in Indianapolis stalled. Saw the Colts kick a field goal. Score now 7-3. Jaguars with the lead over the Colts. Tied up in New England. Tied up in Cleveland between the Browns and the Patriots. So tied up in Green Bay between the Jets and the Packers. Vikings and Dolphins also scoreless tie in that one.
By the way, Skylar Thompson went to the locker room for the Dolphins.
Ooh, who's the next quarterback?
Bridgewater. He's active.
Oh, he's active. So Teddy B is active. Okay. All right. So it could be tough. Minnesota could get lucky again. This Minnesota team keeps winning. This is still not a good team. I guarantee you, you'll be disappointed at the end. But Vikings, Dolphins right now, scoreless tie. Jets, Packers, scoreless tie. Saints 14, Bengals 7. I feel like I didn't see the second touchdown. Maybe I missed something. Maybe it just happened. Okay, it just happened. So so it just who scored, Ronas?
Shaheed, a 44-yard run. Rashid Shaheed.
A good job right there. Alvin Kamara owners. Sorry that happened to you. Sorry it happened to myself, but that's the case right there. Just had a touchdown in the game between the Falcons and the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo hits Brandon Ayuk for the touchdown pass in that game right there. So now we have 14-7 is the score between the Falcons and the 49ers. Taking an early look at the leaderboard, gentlemen. Right now, QB3, obviously QB1 and 2 are the guys that played on Thursday night. Right now,
really,
QB3,
they are still.
yeah, I know.
But then again, this first half has been underwhelming.
There ain't really too much going on. Tom Brady in the spot.
So what do you guys think? Because I put this on Twitter last night after watching a day of incredible college football. Like, I get it, the NFL. Listen, a lot of players in college football on defense are going to end up in other jobs, right? The NFL has the elite of the elite, but where's the imagination? Like, you watch these, like, there's no way a Bears Washington game should look like that. I'm sorry. I don't care. You got to be able to have more offense than that. You guys agree? I just don't see any imagination from these teams like you do, like in Baltimore, where they get a guy like Lamar Jackson, or Buffalo, where they get a guy like Josh Allen. I mean, those teams have imagination on offense. They're using their skill position players. Some of these teams, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and by the way, Teddy Bridgewater is in the game right now. So, yeah, I mean, look, the offense has been abysmal. In the first few weeks, I was like, okay, no preseason. I mean, is it also that we have so many star players changing teams? I mean, this was an offseason where Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Russell Wilson, we saw a lot. I don't know, but, man, I mean, this is abysmal. We got the Vikings-Dolphins second quarter scoreless, Jets-Packers scoreless, Patriots-Browns 3-3. The Tampa Bay has settled for 2 field goals on Pittsburgh. Ravens-Giants is scoreless. Like, what is this? We're in week 6 now.
Yeah, right.
And the Jets just blocked the kick of the Green Bay Packers, so that game is going to remain scoreless.
And Corey, you know this. I've been going through it every week. And last week, dude, there's no good teams in the NFL. They all suck. I argued with Scott Engel last week about the Vikings. I guess you're on my side here when he's like, oh, well, they're 4-1. I'm like, Scott, who have they played? Well, they've won the games. Okay, but that's not the point. Are we looking at this Vikings team as a threat late in the year? I don't see so. I mean, the Packers always find a way. They're 3-2, but they suck.
Any team in the NFL can beat the Minnesota Vikings. You know what I'm saying? So
any team can beat any team right now.
I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys on the Vikings. I'm going to wait until they play a real team, and I'm going to back the Brinks truck up. That's let them keep racking up these hollow, meaningless wins.
So here's my thing, right?
Oh God, are you kidding me?
Oh, I played them too.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did play. I had to. Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake?
I played him.
I don't even know. Well, you played him. I don't even know what team he's on. Where is he?
Oh, my goodness, man. Oh,
Yes.
jeez, man. It's gonna pass
Oh, I
with
see.
Lamar.
Now I see. He's on the team that with J.K. Dobbins, the guy I started. That's all right. Now I got it.
I had a tough one, Ronan, so I had to throw him in the lineup, and it did pay off. But here we go. The reason why these things are happening this year, I firmly, truly believe this, is quarterback play across the NFL is down this season. Quarterback
and
play
offensive line, right?
Yeah,
also
offensive line
a lot
play.
of bad offensive lines across the NFL.
Bad offensive lines and poor quarterback plays. That's why teams like Dallas, starting the backup quarterback, can stay in it every week. Dallas has the least amount of first downs in the NFL.
Dude, and that's the thing. I'm a Cowboys fan. You guys are Cowboys fans. And I've been saying, I'm like, they're 4-1. We don't know how good they are.
You don't. Nope.
Rush has done nothing. It's all
Right.
the defense.
Yep.
Please don't tell me that's. Oh wow! What was? Oh man!
So
I can tell you.
You gotta be. What is this with third string, fourth string running back scoring touchdowns today?
Who scored?
That's the Jacksonville Jaguars right there. They bust off a big run. I can't even tell you who this is. I know It's not ATM. Yeah, so Beastie, he runs it into the end zone, puts the ball down. 14.
So they have two running backs that they give the ball to, and then the third guy scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
and they also give Agnew some carries, and they say, oh, you know what? Let's go to Jermichael Hasty here for this touchdown. Kenyon Drake, that's the worst part too. We have a little offense, and then we got these third and fourth string running backs putting up the points. But yeah, I mean, even with the Cowboys, I don't know how good they are, and they really haven't beaten anyone. And we're gonna find out about them tonight. I don't expect them to win. I know we'll get into that game later, but so it's not like I'm being a homer here. I feel the same way about Dallas. I'm surprised they're 4-1, but they're playing well defensively. It's not like Rush has done anything at all. Go look at his numbers. Even last week, they got the defensive touchdown early. He attempted 16 passes.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
and I can tell all our listeners, if you want to know someone who doesn't know anything about football, if they tell you Cooper Rush should be the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, you might as well unfollow that person because they're not smart enough to talk about football. They're not.
There you go.
I remember, Corey, I remember when I was in high school, a kid came up to me and said, Cowboys went 1-15, that in '89, and Steve Walsh led them to the win. And he said to me, Walsh should be the starting quarterback because he led him to the win over Aikman. And this is what I told him. This is before Twitter, before you could put your dumb comments all over the place. I said, you're not smart enough to talk about football with me. You're not. If you think that. And, I don't know what anyone's seeing that thinks Cooper Rush is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. As we said on this show, the thing that it's Kellen Moore just changed the way he called plays.
They managed the game better.
All they're doing is looking at wins and losses. That's it. That's all they're doing. Oh, well, they've won 4 games with him as a starter. He's 5-0 in his NFL career. Okay, what is behind that, though? I mean, this defense is playing lights
I was going to say, if they're going by that, then they're saying Micah Parsons should be starting quarterback.
He'd probably do a better job than a lot of what we're seeing out there. Speaking of the quarterbacks, let's get into it right now. Justin Fields, QB1.
Are you kidding me, man?
Right in QB1.
By the way, so Thompson is questionable to return with a thumb injury.
So he could get back in the game. Teddy Bridgewater holding it down right now for the Miami Dolphins. Fields QB1 right now with 19 fantasy points. Trevor Lawrence QB2 with 7 fantasy points, 40 passing yards, a passing touchdown. Joe Burrow QB3 right now, 77 passing yards, a passing touchdown, 5 rushing yards. Lamar Jackson is QB4. 98 passing yards, already 36 rushing yards for Jackson. Coming into the game, I felt this would be a big run day for Jackson, and that's happening so far.
Yeah, it should be. He's done a good job all year. They're going to need him. Dobbins has kind of been limited in his return. That's the thing, too. The Ravens have really not had a great running game all year, and Jackson leads them. Dobbins has 7 carries, only 15 yards today. So, and we've seen the Giants really not do much yet. Barkley just 3 carries for 8 yards and 2 receptions for 8 yards. So Baltimore has kind of dominated play here. They've run 26 plays to 9 for the Giants.
And here's the thing about it. The score, though, is still 7-0 Baltimore Ravens. They just got that touchdown. The Giants let's see if the Giants do what they like to do, which is stay close to you and then let Baltimore take over in the second half. Marcus Mariota, QB5 right now. 71 passing yards, only 5 rushing yards, Tom. We haven't seen the rushing from Mariota the past couple of weeks like we want to. I almost feel like, Tom, like Atlanta wants to play the game without Mariota. So they try to do everything they can to not involve him, but he has been solid as far as a quarterback goes in 2022.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised too. I thought he would run more this year. That they've decided not to. Maybe they don't want to get him injured. But like we said before, the Falcons are kind of one of those teams. They don't have a ton of talent, but they're sticking around. They're fighting hard. Now, I will say this: when teams are doing that, I think they can do it for about half a season. If they start to get a couple injuries, then I think it's time to bet against Atlanta, because those kinds of teams don't have the depth of some of the better teams. But again, as Rona said, I don't know who the better teams are, because there's no good football teams in the NFL except apparently the Eagles. So I don't know when to fade them, to be honest with you.
Teddy Bridgewater just took a big shot just now too, so I wouldn't be surprised if they might want to take a look at Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh boy,
he's getting to the point in his career where he's
he can't have too many more of those.
Yeah, exactly. So I've always liked Bridgewater, but I'll be honest with you, he just doesn't look right this year. You know what I'm saying? Just even on that play where he takes the hit, he backs about the huddle, he falls down. You know what I'm saying? Takes a big shot, and I'm just like, man, I think Teddy. We've definitely seen the best of Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not even sure how much he can continue to be a backup quarterback in the NFL. I hope it does work out for him, because I want to see him make money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wish I could
Let me ask you guys. I mean, it looked like he got helmet to the head. So if he's out, who is playing quarterback for the Dolphins? Does anyone know? Because I don't.
Did they have a third quarterback active? Oh, well, I guess they probably did, right?
I have no idea, but you might be looking at a live betting situation for the Vikings, because I don't know who's coming in at quarterback for Miami if Bridgewater can't play.
Well, right now for the Dolphins, Jason Sanders setting up for a 44-yard field goal down there at Hard Rock Stadium, and
oh my goodness, another Brandon Ayuk touchdown. I think I benched him in a league.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ronas. Man, is it setting up to be one of those Sundays?
Feels like it already, man. Jeez.
Back to the quarterback.
I did start him in a couple, but I do have him on the bench in the league, because I had a lot of those backup running backs that wound up in big roles. You know, Benjamin, Darrell Henderson, Deion Jackson. You know, it's like, all right, I'm going to start these guys, and it was a good matchup though for Ayuk, and it helps that they fell down 14-0, but it looks like they'll tie it right up.
Yep, right. They come right back. They're going to have a 14-14 score. That game down there in Atlanta between the Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers, former division rivals. QB7 right now, Kenny Pickett. Pickett has 16 rushing yards, 43 passing yards, a passing touchdown. Matt Ryan has 148 passing yards.
Dude, they are not running the ball. They just come out and they're letting him chuck it. They have 5 carries, and Ryan has 21 pass attempts. I mean, they're moving the ball
21 times already.
Yeah, he's not been sacked, and he hasn't turned it over yet. But defensively, they gave up a couple big plays, so they're moving the football. I mean, Michael Pittman 6 for 68, Deion Jackson 4 for 36 in the passing game. So they're moving the football. They're just not finding the end zone.
They're just not winning.
Well, that too. Basically, so the Colts have run 27 plays to 16 for Jacksonville, and Jacksonville has 6 more yards than them.
And Jacksonville
don't worry, guys. Don't worry, because the Colts have a ton of talent. That's a talented roster. I'm going to keep saying that till they get the first pick in the draft pretty soon.
All right, so there we go. Who was the last quarterback? Oh yeah, Andy Dalton. Actually, the Saints moving the ball pretty well. 26 passing yards, a passing touchdown for Dolphin. Skylar Thompson, we told you, already out the game, and Carson Wentz from the other night. What was you about to say, Ronas?
No, so I've been talking about that Nick Chubb prop that I've been playing every week, and I did it again. It's over 18.5 rushing yards for as long as, and he doesn't have it yet. He only has 8. But the other guy that I've been looking at every week who continues to go, and I didn't play it this week, is Barkley. It was actually, I think, 16.5. He just had a 22-yard run. Like, Barkley's doing this every week, so I think that's something that you have to look at. Kind of regardless of opponent, because Barkley's going to get
the ball.
Every single week. So I think that's something that we can start to look at every single week as well, because he's just breaking off big plays.
Yeah, that's I remember you said that last time I was on, and I completely forgot about it. So I'm gonna that's
because you know what it is.
call.
I think a lot of people don't like. They're not popular, like longest reception.
They're
that's
not as
why,
popular as the
because I've been
yards.
talking every week, and Fency's like, "How come the Chubb line doesn't move?" And I'm like, I don't think a lot of people play it.
Yeah, they don't get a ton of action on that compared to like just the regular prop bets. You know what else is interesting? It's something I'm going to keep my eye on here, guys. Is that Robert Saleh's had a lot of injuries since he's been there, and this Jets defense is healthy now, and they look good, man. They're rushing the passer. They look fast. That's something I want to keep an eye on moving forward.
Tom, the Jets are playing with confidence for the first time in like forever. You see it in the body language of their players. You know what I'm saying? Where they've been the hapless Jets for so long. But I think that this team is now starting to come into these games thinking that not only can they compete, they can win. So I think if the season ended today, the Jets would be a playoff team. Does that mean it's going to be that way in January? No. But Ron, to see the development of a young football team is interesting.
Well, I feel the same way about the Giants, right? Yeah. Look at that team and the culture and the confidence they have, and they believe, and that's why they're in these games. And again, with the parity in the NFL, whether it's bad coaches we alluded to, bad quarterback, play offensive lines. I mean, these teams, when you have a good coach like Dable, it's giving you an edge. And yeah, the Jets too, man. They are, and they have talent too. It's just the offense, though, has not been the same with Zach Wilson. You think that's because the defense has been better and they've been in competitive games? I mean, Flacco was thrown the ball 50, 60 times. We're not seeing it. From a fantasy perspective, it's hurt the Jets wide receivers.
Yeah, but they're managing the game better. The offense is actually playing better. They're not a top 10, but a top 15 offense in the league. This is a big test for them today. I think they're going to hang close in this one. Interesting to see how the rest of this game plays out right here. So right now,
is anyone going to score? Is this game on Amazon?
I was just going to say that the bigger concern is the Packers. That offense just looks bad.
I've been down on the Packers every single year, and they roll through the regular season, and then I look smart when they don't do anything in the playoffs because they relied on Devontae Adams so much. It gets you through the regular season. Is this a case, though? Do you guys think that it will take Rodgers time because he's got, outside of Lazard, a lot of new receivers?
See, but I kind of feel like what Tom was saying earlier is you got guys like Wan'Dale Robinson. When you talk about, okay, this team doesn't have any weapons, like what really constitutes as a weapon? If you're a professional wide receiver and your quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, you should be able to get it done. Is it not being schemed right against the offensive line? They might just be overrated.
I mean, I thought they have been for years. Well, they win the division every year. But I always look smart in the playoffs, though, when they never get it done.
But Corey, you make an interesting point because the game against the Giants on that fourth down, Romeo Doubs was open to the left, and Rodgers just locked on Lazard.
Yeah.
So is there a trust factor there where he's only going to trust one guy? You know what I mean? Like, it's guys like Rodgers usually know where everybody is and who's open and who isn't. And so that'll be something interesting to watch moving forward.
Yep. So got the New York Giants in the red zone
given what's going on with Devontae Adams, maybe him and Green Bay were the right fit all along, right? Because the Packers are struggling without him, and we see what's going on in Las Vegas right now. I think he's going to be out a little bit for my fantasy team.
Hitting the pockets. We'll see if they I haven't heard any word on any suspension, but he is going to be light in the pocket. But Tom, did you see the replay from the
angle? Get in. Yes, baby.
Who's that?
Wan'Dale Robinson. Yes.
Because I'm watching a replay of somebody dropping a pass.
Yeah, so there you go, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Sorry, I'm going to get reprimanded for that.
Tie score in Baltimore. Between New York and Baltimore down there in the Meadowlands. Score 7-7. That game was coming up on a little bit, about a minute from the 2-minute warning before they go to halftime in that game right there. So New York Giants, Baltimore Ravens tied up. Wan'Dale Robinson gets the touchdown reception from Daniel Jones. Tom, did you see the angle from where Devontae Adams from behind? It looks like the dude walked right into Adams' path as he was approaching, and it looked like Adams really couldn't do nothing else. He was going to run into the guy anyway. Did you see that angle?
Yeah, and listen, I'm not excusing what he did, right? You can't push somebody, you can't do it. But unfortunately today with the mob mentality, we don't look at every side. We don't think this person needs to take responsibility for their actions. I've been at games. and I know other people have said this too, who are more important than I am. It's not a regular thing that somebody walks up to you like that, runs up to you in a tunnel. It just doesn't happen that much. And, he's pissed about the game. Now, again, he shouldn't have, but, I just thought it was funny because, this guy's walking out of the hospital with a neck brace and a they said non-life-threatening injuries. And not that I would have done the same thing, but it's just funny.
I
help! Mental anguish, all that stuff going on.
Ronas, that poor guy must be really going through a lot, Ronas.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. No, I think it was overblown a little bit. I'm not saying what he did was right, but like people act like he maliciously, threw him and chucked him 50 yards. Like, let's relax.
This Minnesota Vikings offense, as we get ready to wind down the first half in Miami, weapons on weapons. Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, some of your favorite fantasy people. You know what I'm saying? Kevin O'Connell supposed to come in there and beat his boy, one of the genius head coach Tom. And this team right here, week after week, looks pitiful on offense.
Yeah. And I don't know. There's a lot of these young geniuses who can't score any points in games. I just wonder. Everyone's looking for the next McVay, right? Everyone wants Sean in all this stuff, but maybe some of these guys are better coordinators. They're not ready to be head coaches. I don't know. Again, I think there's one of the questions I would ask in an interview was, who are your friends and who are you going to hire? Because I need to know that now. Like I said, both the Broncos and the Bears have guys who have never run NFL offenses before. And they got and listen, this has been going on for years. It's nothing new. It's nothing that Nathaniel Hackett or the guy for the Bears is doing. Everyone does it. I mean, the Cowboys did it with Mike Nolan, right? The McCarthy buddies with Mike Nolan. Here's the job, right? Yeah, so it goes on all the time. I'm just saying, I wonder if some of these running NFL offenses and defenses is hard. Being a head coach is even tougher. We know that. There's like 5 good ones. So I think that's part of the issue too, is that you have guys in positions maybe they shouldn't be. I've always said, listen, you make Jason Garrett a quarterback coach, you're not going to hear a word from me. He's a great quarterbacks coach. I don't want him calling the offense, but if he's just going to work with quarterbacks, I'll take that.
He does a good job on Football Night in America as well. The redhead genius, Jason Garrett. All right, running back leaderboard right now, Joe Mixon, RB1 on the day. Joe Mixon has a receiving touchdown, 23 receiving yards, 19 rushing yards for Mixon. JaMycal Hasty for Jacksonville has a 61 rushing yards and a touchdown. Brian Robinson, who we mentioned earlier, looks like that work should have went to Antonio Gibson, but Robinson did get 60 yards and a touchdown. Kenyon Drake, touchdown scorer today, currently RB4, 34 rushing yards and rushing touchdown. Also 8 receiving yards for Kenyon Drake. Najee Harris coming in at RB5. He's in the end zone already today. Harris, who's been a disappointment so far this season, does have 17 rushing yards, 17 receiving yards, 2 receptions as well. Deion Jackson, a lot of you picked up, put him on your waiver wire. Picked up the waiver wire, put him in your lineup today. He has 14 rushing yards, 36 receiving yards. That receiving prop was 14.5. Cashed that one already. 4 receptions. You mentioned Antonio Gibson. Travis Etienne continues to run the football well. 48 rushing yards, 22 receiving yards, 1 reception. Ronas, the touchdown's not there yet. Speaking of touchdowns, Irv Smith Jr. just scores to give the Minnesota Vikings a 6-3 lead, extra point pending. But Ronas, Etienne, if he can score, maybe we can start to see some momentum build as far as fantasy goes.
Yeah, he's been better. They did give him a direct snap. I think it was from the 2. He was stopped. They brought in Robinson on the next play, and he was stopped. And then Lawrence had the sneak. But, yeah, I mean, look, Etienne's the more explosive player. 4 for 48 on the ground and a 22-yard catch. And they talked about it last week after the game. We got to get him the ball more. So he's got 5 touches so far. Jacksonville really has not had the ball much in this game. It's been all Indy, even though Jacksonville's up 14-3. We've seen Indy control play here. So as they are passing a ton and kind of abandoning the run. So I guess they see something. They go, all right, we're just going to put it in the hands of Matt Ryan, which has always worked out well this year.
Yeah, first look. Yeah, right. First look at the wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk currently WR1, 47 receiving yards, 4 catches on 4 targets. He has 2 touchdowns. Dante Pettis the other night, 84 receiving yards, 4 receptions. Darnell Mooney, 68 for 7 for 68. Michael Pittman Jr. off to a good start, 6 catches for 68 yards on 7 targets. Rashid Shaheed, 44 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Wandell Robinson, Nando DeFino favorite right now, wide receiver 6, 20 receiving yards, 2 receptions on 2 targets. Also, he gets in the end zone. We saw Traquan Smith score an 18-yard touchdown. That's where his fantasy points come from. Devontae Parker has 3 catches for 57 yards. Tom, when new receivers, that should be a personal foul, is it? No, they're not gonna throw a flag on. Did they throw a flag on that?
I don't think I saw a flag yet. Yeah, I got Breece Hall's rushing yards prop. What do I got it at? Over 59.5 rushing yards, and he has like 40. I mean,
Packers can't stop the run.
Yeah.
I mean, and Breece Hall's been, 17 and 18 carries the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's taken over, and if you have,
Ronas, I have his season over 855. What do you think about that? I mean, he's starting.
Yeah, you're in good shape. Yeah, you're in good shape there.
Yeah, and as long as he can stay healthy, knock on wood, that one should hit.
Always the key for those over props is staying healthy.
Yeah.
Tom, I want to ask you about Devontae Parker. His first season in New England, having a good game today, 3 catches, 57 yards. Now, in the past, we've seen talented wide receivers come into New England and struggle. Is it that hard to pick up the system? Why do we see so many talented players, particularly at the wide receiver position, struggle when they get to New England?
Well, because I mean, at least when I was there, I know. Listen, they have Brady when I was there, but
it's different. Yeah.
They don't like guys who are going to freelance and do what they want to do. One of the things Randy Moss was there, and one of the things that I heard about him was, despite everything you hear in the media, Randy Moss is always where Randy Moss is supposed to be in the game. And they didn't make it complicated for Moss. They gave him like 3-4 routes, but Brady knew he was always going to be there. And I think that's a lot of their system is they prefer smarter receivers who are going to be in spots. That's why, Chad Johnson didn't last there long.
What about Reggie Wayne though? That's the one that's interesting to me. Reggie Wayne, future Hall of Famer, very smart football player, smart offensive mind, smart wide receiver. Was it just to the top? Was he just past his prime? Was that it?
I think that's what it was.
Okay.
I think he was just done at that point. And, that's what Bill does a lot is he'll take a shot on some of these older guys who may or may not have anything left in the tank. We saw it in Tampa Bay, right, with Julio Jones. Maybe he's got something, maybe he doesn't, but let's give it a shot. So he does that a lot too. So, yeah, I don't think the system is overly hard to pick up. I just think that they are set on having a certain kind of receiver that they want them to do. And listen, Bill wants you to do what he wants you to do. He ain't going to take guys who freelance. So if that's going to be your game, you won't last long in New England.
So I think we can't hit the touchdown sounder. Probably missed this one, but I do see on my board where if you had Ramondre Stevenson as an anytime touchdown scorer, you can cash that one. New England 9, Cleveland 3. Have not seen. Oh, yeah, here we go. Nick Folk hits the extra point. So you have now New England has a 10-3 lead over the Cleveland Browns. Coming up on the 2-minute warning in that game. We get ready to head out to halftime. Wide receiver 11. Back to this right quick. Wide receiver 11 on the day. Jalen Waddle, 3 catches, 52 yards. Right now, WR12 is Deontay Johnson, 4 catches, 23 yards. Also has 8 rushing yards. Our first early look at the tight ends. I mean, who else? Mark Andrews right up there right now. Tight end 1, 4 catches, 62 yards. Had Andrews on jock market today. So we'll see how that plays out. Irv Smith Jr. has also gotten in the end zone. He is tight end 2. He has 2 receptions, one of them in the end zone. Michael Pruitt, that is correct. Michael Pruitt. They got, come on now. Let's do better than this, people. This is not how you're going to spell Michael, are you? Are we really spelling Michael like this? Remind me to bring this up on Corey Nando and Friends tomorrow. Michael Pruitt, spell M-Y-C-O-L-E. 1 catch for 2 yards in the end zone. David Njoku, Ronas, hey, you know what? I put him in lineups this week. He got 2 catches for 37 yards. And Joe,
Oh,
he's
he's-
all right, Joe. Yeah.
Oh no, he's like a top 5, top 7 tight end every single week right now.
I was playing I forgot who I was playing over him. Oh, it's Darren Waller. The reason why I got him in the lineup is because I don't have no Darren Waller this week, who's been a dog. My God.
Oh, dude, I know. I'm so disappointed in him. We do have 2 touchdowns. Mariota with a rushing touchdown, and we're going with 4th, 5th string players today. Paris Campbell.
A Paris Campbell signing. Matt Ryan gets it done. The Indianapolis Colts looking to come back in that game right there. That score right now, 14-9, extra point pending, and that score in Atlanta, Ron, is 21-14, correct?
That is correct, yeah. And
a lot of offense in that game. I wasn't expecting a lot of offense, a lot of points.
Well,
in this
San
game. I was
Francisco
not
defense
expecting
is so banged up. So they have a lot of injuries on that defensive side of, and it seems like it's every year with the 49ers, they have a plethora of injuries every single year.
Yeah, every year. It's amazing. I do think Arthur Smith is doing a pretty good job in Atlanta.
He is.
They are for bettors, like I said, 5-0 against the spread, looking to go to 6-0 today.
And the thing is they look like a football team. You know what I mean? Like maybe they don't have the most talent, but they can play football a little. And I don't know, man. I watched the Bears play. I was thinking, what is this? This isn't football.
Yeah, and you see here's the thing, and that's kind of the thing with the Pitts people, right? And trust me, I want Pitts to be good. You know what I'm saying? I want him to do his thing. The problem is they're not playing. The game plan is to manage the game. Get to the fourth quarter and try to win the game, figure out a way to win the game in the fourth quarter. They're going to the open guy. They're game planning the game, and the game plan don't include Pitts. It's unfortunate, but as long as they're winning, it's kind of why would we switch it up? To satisfy fantasy owners? That's not how it works in the NFL, Adam.
Yeah, at the same time, though, you drafted a tight end in the top 5. Like,
was Smith the coach when they did that? He was coming in, right? Yeah, he was coming in. Yeah, so he was signed off on that.
So that's what I don't get. It's not like they're, you have London and you have Pitts. You should be putting the ball in their hands. I don't understand why they don't use them enough. And I have Pitts in 1 league, so it's not like I'm sitting here heavily invested. But from an NFL perspective, and it's not like they've been ahead in every game. They've been trailing in some games, and we still don't see a lot of Pitts.
Tom, tight end 5 right now is George Kittle. He has 3 targets, 3 catches for 25 yards. What did you play his prop at? I think was it 46.5?
40. I got it at 42.5 at DraftKings last night.
You got it last night.
Yeah, so I'm in the game here. I got a couple more catches maybe, and we'll get
the game script is perfect for you. They're down 7.
That's what I was worried about when I put it in, is if they get up 21-0 and just pound them. So I can't complain about what's going on.
That's not Mark Andrews. I say another catch.
Kenny Drake has another 30-yard run, bro. Like
Kenny Drake, yes, he's having a
what
day.
Is this?
I needed it too,
Corey's the greatest fantasy owner of all time.
I told you to start Kenny Drake.
You should have seen me earlier today. Like, oh my God, I got to play Kenyon Drake. Like, I literally put Drake in the lineup and said to myself, I'm not going to check this score today. But sometimes it bees like that. Sometimes. Tight end 7, Mike.
You need some breaks during these bye weeks and injury issues. We've all probably have starting players today that we don't want to, but just kind of have to based on injuries and the first week of buys.
Yeah, and next week's going to be a tough one, right, Ronas? Because I know my son has a lot of Rams and Eagles, and he told me he's in for a rough week.
And Buffalo. I mean,
Buffalo. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough week next week for buys.
It's going to be a rough week for this show next week, too.
I was going to say, those Eagles and Buffalo, those are the only 2 teams that score points.
Touchdowns will be at a premium next week.
Let's take a look at the leaderboard. We got 5 yards.
Yeah. Michael Pruitt.
Right, second straight week.
Michael Pruitt getting it done once again this week. Today, 2 catches for 12 yards. Mike Gesicki, 2 for 35. Hayden Hurst, who plays well, 3 catches for 21 yards. Taysom Hill also getting it done. Taysom Hill already with 40 yards rushing. And then Pharaoh Brown and Josh Oliver round out our top 12 tight ends. We'll get back, hit another leaderboard a little bit after halftime. Coming up in the next hour, Lisa Ann, who joined the program. She does the Better Sports Live a couple nights a week with my guy, Rick Kamler. So she'll join the program. We'll chop it up with her a little bit, get her thoughts on some of the games, preview some of these evening games as well. When we come back on the other side, we are going to start to take a look at some of these live lines as we get ready to head into halftime of most of these games. Like I said, get your little leaderboard a little later on and go over some of those 4 p.m. Eastern time starts. Here we go. It is the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network. With Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
Moose and Keith with you. Let's welcome aboard right now, Iron Eagle.
One of the great stories that I have from doing notes on a plane, and you always get people looking over. They see color-coded uniform numbers, names, height, weight, age, background, hometown. And I had a woman sitting next to me on a flight, and I'm doing my notes, and she's kind of giving the look, then looking, and I can tell she's looking. And then finally, she'll say, so what is it that you do? Well, what do you think I do? She said, are you a wedding planner? I said, yes. I said, I have to put Rob Gronkowski at Tom Brady's table. I said, you know what? You're not correct, but it's the best answer I've ever heard.
That's great.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
As far as fantasy executive, it's going to be a football life. The fantasy executive is probably going to be the best football life ever.
Who will be the guest? Everyone who was on yesterday, basically.
Yeah, everybody that's on yesterday will be the guest. Scott Ingram, you know what I'm saying? Adam Ronis. Yeah, everybody, those people. Because what Nando, obviously you'll be there. You know what I'm saying? We'll go to the GST and shoot some scenes. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice.
We'll shoot some scenes in Midtown Manhattan. Antonio Brown can be on my football life,
That'd
right?
be nice.
Because that's a big part of my come up as a fantasy analyst. Everybody, the football life, the fantasy executive is going to be for the people. When they do the football life on the fantasy executive, I'm going to be hands on.
Good. Yeah. You talking to you.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Cheetos or Doritos?
I truly love both. Cool Ranch Doritos.
Wow.
I grew up on Cheetos. I was a big Chester Cheetah guy.
Oh, nice.
But Ray, as I have aged into adulthood, I've moved away from the fun that is the Cheeto, and I've gone to the more cosmopolitan Cool Ranch Dorito chip. So I'm probably a Cool Ranch guy. How about you?
I would go Doritos. I don't like Cool Ranch. The traditional, original, regular, whatever it is really good. But my favorite's actually the sweet chili, the purple bag. Oh, it's delicious. It's fantastic.
Yeah. The one that sucks, and I think we can all agree on this one, taco.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things, and I'm perfect at a lot of things. My Dorito trivia is a little shaky.
Okay.
A little shaky. But I think taco is the first flavor.
Garoppolo in the shotgun. Debo to his left. They play action throw out left. It is caught by Brandon Ayuk. 10-5. Touchdown! San Francisco. Jimmy back. Jimmy throws. Caught. Brandon Ayuk. 10-5. Touchdown! San Francisco. Ayuk is on fire!
How's your fantasy team performing today? Where's your edge? What's on the game day menu? The Bettor Zone is the place to celebrate your passion for football on Bettor Sports Network.
Back at them, Bettor Sports Network, Bettor Zone, Corey Parson, fantasy executive Adam Ronis, Tom Casale, coming to you on a Sunday afternoon, having a good time. That audio courtesy of the San Francisco 49er radio network. Brandon Ayuk is on fire. 2 touchdowns reception early going of that game. Atlanta Falcons, though, with a 21-14 lead over the San Francisco 49ers down there in the Dome. Ronis, if you want to hop in on that game, which is at halftime right now, Jimmy G threw an interception to end the first half. They go into the locker room. Atlanta is a 3-point favorite now. If you want San Fran, they're coming back on the money line at plus 140. I feel pretty good about the wager I already have in this game, so I'm not going to double pop it, but I wouldn't bet it none of these anyway. But San Francisco, you like their chances at plus 140, or just something that you would stay away from?
I think they have a shot here. They're moving the football. They're not really running it well, but they just haven't had the ball a lot. But the defense is my concern with all these injuries, and I think another one of their corners went out. So that's my concern. Can I ask you guys something about the Packers? Because I can't figure this out. I need some help here. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is dropping back, throwing deep passes, okay? Aaron Jones is averaging 6.4 yards per carry this season. He has 3 carries today. A.J. Dillon has 7 for 19. He's averaging 3.9. Why doesn't Aaron Jones get the football more? We talked about this in week 2. I was all over Aaron Jones over receiving and rushing because I'm like, week 1, they always come out flat. They did the same thing last year. They go to Aaron Jones. He has a big game. Why isn't Aaron Jones getting the football here? I don't get this.
Well,
I don't have Aaron Jones on my fantasy team either, so it's not selfish. I just don't understand. He's an explosive player, averaging over 6 yards a carry this year. You saw your passing game was terrible in the second half last week. Why aren't you getting the ball in his hands? Whether it's on the ground or through the air.
Who do you think's running this offense, LaFleur or Rodgers?
Rodgers.
There you go. It's all about him.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Offensive coordinator Rodgers better start running the ball or he won't make it out of this game alive. He's getting eaten up. Salah's sending blitzes after him. He's already limping. I agree. I was actually just thinking that, Ronas, before you said it. Like, every time they go there, they're showing me Rodgers throw a deep pass. He's getting killed.
It was the same thing last week, bro. I'm like, what is this, street football? I'm going to drop back and go deep, 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 deep.
Yeah, and, it's interesting because I had put a wager on the Packers to win the Super Bowl before the season, and I bought out of it. I lost like $25 on it. I said, I'll take that because they're not going to win it. But what you're saying was my reasoning. I thought they were going to be a running team, their defense, and in the NFC, I thought that'd be enough to get you to the playoffs. And then it's kind of like the Broncos back in the day. Then the quarterback can start making you plays later in the season with the receivers, a little seasoning in them. But I'm watching this team at the first month of the season and not running the football. The defense has struggled against better teams, but I don't get what they're doing. He's running the same offense he was running when he had great receivers.
Yeah, no, it's definitely problematic. Also, let's bring up another future Hall of Fame quarterback whose offense is struggling, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are down 10-9 at halftime to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody was on the Buccaneers, mainly betting against the Steelers in this spot right here. You still have to lay a number with the Buccaneers if you want them at 3.5. Pittsburgh coming back at plus 185. So people still feel pretty good that the Buccaneers will win this game. But Tom, the offense in Tampa doesn't look good either. I'm looking at Tom Brady throw the ball out of bounds just about every play.
No, you're right. And yeah, listen, they have Brady. They'll probably find a way to win the game, but it's not looking good. And one thing I just find interesting is that he's on the sideline screaming at his offensive lineman, right? When Brady does it, it's he wants to win. When Cam Newton does it, it's he's a bad teammate. You know what I mean? When I've seen multiple quarterbacks leave the Super Bowl press conference because they lost. When Newton did it, he was a baby. I think it's funny how everybody looks at different players because I saw that on Twitter. He's yelling at his lineman and they're like, boy, Tom Brady, he'll do anything. And it's just a different narrative for different players.
People betting into that.
A lot of frustration with him going through divorces and everything, So
breaking tablets and stuff like that. The thing is, it's just that team is beat up. They're injured. Mind you, Bruce Arians is not there. It's going to be a difference when the head coach is changing. And listen, everybody loves Todd Bowles. You know what I mean? He's a fantastic head coach, but they still got a lot to work out in Tampa Bay. Really no good team outside of Philadelphia in the NFC right now, unless Taysom Hill is running for the New Orleans Saints, and then they look like world beaters.
How about the Bengals, though? Jeez.
All right. This is a game the Bengals need, man. They can't lose this game to the Saints with all the injuries they have.
It's before the season, one of my writers wrote for the Post looking at the Bengals as the Super Bowl loser, and he went back in history and just looked at the Super Bowl loser and their win totals and how many of them won the division, and it's really eye-opening on how many of the teams that lose the Super Bowl struggle the following year. I don't really know what it is because the Bengals, to me, are a good football team, but here they are. They're losing games they probably should win. I mean, listen, if you were in the Super Bowl last year and you got most of your team back, you got to be able to go into New Orleans and beat a second-team quarterback, a team that's struggling. I just don't get it.
It's a good point. And you know what? Where's the point where you go, you know what? Last year was last year. This team's not any good. Let's not forget. They lost to the Steelers in overtime in week 1. Now, they outgained them. It was all turnovers. They lost to Dallas with Cooper Rush. Okay, they beat the Jets. They beat the Dolphins when Tua got hurt early in that game.
Right.
And they lost to the Ravens in an ugly performance. It was a close game last week. But, and if they lose this game with the Saints with all these injuries,
so it's time to panic.
Especially in that division.
That game has not gone to halftime yet, but the New Orleans Saints are in the red zone right now. Andy Dalton drop off to Alvin Kamara. So they're down just outside the 10-yard line, 46 seconds left before they get to half. New Orleans currently up 17-14, could be tacking on some more points, could go up by 10 going into halftime in this game right here. Baltimore Ravens, New York Giants, they are winding down to the second half. Ravens up 10-7 over the Giants. If you want Baltimore, you're still laying at one. You're still laying 4.5. If you like the New York Giants, you're coming back at plus 215. I want a little bit more juice on this to get behind the Giants, but this is the typical New York Giant game. Stay close in the first half and then hope that Barkley can bust off a few big plays to help you win the game. The Giants are playing their style of ball, and we've seen Baltimore's offense go silent in the second half. This could be a possible live bet opportunity for me on the New York Giants.
I don't see it. I just think Baltimore has been moving the ball. They're outgaining them 256-90. So,
but isn't it like every Giant game though?
Yeah, but this is pretty bad though. It's 7.1 yards per play for Baltimore, 4.1 for the Giants.
Big difference.
Yeah,
I know, but listen, the Ronas, I don't know how much you follow college basketball, but Corey, they like the luck ratings, like the luck rankings, and the king of all luck ratings last year was the Providence Friars, right? according to nobody can figure out how Providence ever won a basketball game. The Giants are the Providence Friars of the NFL, man. I'm with you. Every time I look up, the Ravens have the ball inside the 30, and then you look at the score and it's not equaling what the game looks like. So I don't know, man. The Giants they're just sticking around these games. I think, Corey, you're right. That's their game plan, is give us a shot in the fourth quarter and we'll make a couple of plays.
That's basically what they're trying to do. And they're trying to outcoach you too. Now, with John Harbaugh, that could be difficult, but we have seen Baltimore struggle when they play some of the better defensive coordinators, and Wink Martindale is one of those better defensive coordinators in the league. So that's a game to keep an eye on. That game is
obviously knows Lamar. He practiced against him for 4 or 5, whatever years. And
so he his comments about Lamar Jackson this week. He more or less act like Lamar Jackson was Tom Brady. Like he was fawning over Lamar Jackson. I wish that Baltimore would get rid of Greg Roman, and I think we could really unlock Lamar Jackson and see what he is. Their offense that they ran, they're still running the offense they ran the MVP year, and it's not, people have caught on to it. I don't get it. What are they going to do with it?
Anyway. It's a good point. It's a good point, but listen, I love Lamar Jackson. He's maybe my favorite player to watch in the NFL. But again, I don't know if he's he's having trouble throwing the ball today. He's missing guys who are wide open. I don't know if that's ever going to be Lamar's strength. I kind of like how they have the running element with the passing element. And again, they could do a better job of getting them some receivers for sure. But right now, I kind of like the way the offense is. Especially, Corey, with your boy Kenyon Drake in there running for 150 yards a game for some reason, and I don't know why.
So that game right now, like I said, so let's go to New Orleans. The Saints do tack on a field goal. New Orleans 20, Cincinnati 14. Now, the Bengals came into this game as about a 3-point favorite right now at halftime. New Orleans laying 3.5. You want to come back with the Bengals, Tom. You're paying $1.65. Well, not you're paying $1.65. You're getting $1.65. Bengals at plus 165. And the Bengals do need this game more. I just don't know if I trust them in this spot on the road. I think the Saints are going to make this one tough. I wouldn't bet this. I think the Saints can hold on here.
Yeah, I take a little shot on the Bengals only because I think they've gotten badly outplayed in the first half and they find themselves down 6 points. And now you're giving Joe Burrow a chance to be in the game. I would probably right now looking at these halftime scores, I would give a shot if I was looking for a live bet on a dog, the Bengals and the 49ers.
All right. What do you think, Lawrence, about the Cincinnati Bengals, this situation right here against the Saints today?
Yeah, I mean, their defense is getting manhandled. So, if they
Which
can
is
make
surprising.
some adjustments, and yeah, I mean, they're allowing 7.4 yards per play to the Saints offense, which again, no Olave, no Michael Thomas, no Landry.
But they got Taysom Hill. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, Taysom only has 4 carries, 39 yards, and a 7-yard pass. But it's still surprising. And Jamar Chase, only 2 for 16. I thought this was his big game here going back home.
Yeah, I thought so too. That's what everybody was saying.
Yeah, Mixon only 4 carries for 19 yards. So Higgins 2 for catches, 8 yards on 5 targets. If you use them, that's better than a 0, but it's still not good enough. So
it's better than a 0. That should be the name of this show. Better than a 0.
Yeah, better than a 0. Speaking of 0, guys, I wanted to look up quickly on our Vikings and who they play. So we might have to wait they got the Cardinals at home, then they got the Commanders. But then is when business starts to pick up a little bit. The Bills, the Cowboys, the Patriots. So I do think let the Vikings get these wins the next couple of weeks. Maybe there's going to be some shots down the road where we can bet against them.
And they've all, 3 of their first 5 games were at home. Look, I actually thought they had a chance to win the division, but
and they do. They do
because it's a bad division.
Yeah,
but if you're going to tout this team, okay, they beat Green Bay week 1. Again, Green Bay always comes out flat. They got absolutely destroyed by Philly. They weren't in that game. They had to come back in the fourth quarter to beat the Lions. They barely beat another banged-up Saints team in London. They should have lost that game. And they beat the Bears by 7 last week. So, and now
they're up by 7 at halftime on the Miami Dolphins.
Right.
So
with Skylar Thompson.
Yeah.
So it's do you give these teams credits for getting the wins? Sure. But when you're looking at them long term, it's okay, well, let's look at the resume. It hasn't been that impressive for them. Again, these teams that are 4-1, you give them credit because we see a lot of 2-3, 3-2. We just talked about the Bengals and their struggles, but again, there's just a lot of parity and a lot of bad play. And, if you get some good coaching like the Giants are, you're able to win some of these games.
There you go. So there you have it. Right now, Vikings 10, Dolphins 3 at halftime. If you want to get in on this, it's probably a bad idea. But Minnesota's laying 6.5.
Well, then again, with Brit,
280, you said 280 on the Dolphins.
I mean, with Bridgewater, do you feel better or no? I mean, he's 3 for 8, 50 yards, and throwing a pick.
I don't think Bridgewater looks right this year.
Okay.
Yeah, Ronas, I saw, Tua's obviously clear. Do you think he plays next week?
Yes.
Okay, because they need him badly.
And I think they're in prime time. They're in prime time, too. So,
yeah. Who they play, the Broncos?
They host the Steelers.
I know, right? Oh, the Steelers.
Broncos, 4 prime. Dude,
it had to be the Broncos, the Steelers, or the Bears.
The Bears are in prime time next Monday in New England on Monday
shocking.
night. And the Broncos, of course, this week, 4th time in prime time in 6 weeks. Really?
And again, guys, listen, I listen, the king of prime time is our team, right? The Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I understand, but I wouldn't put any team on four times in the first 6 weeks. To me, that's just stupid. I don't care what the team is. What if there's an injured quarterback, right? What if they're not as good as they are, like the Broncos? Or then, and the final point is, who the hell wants to see the same team over and over again in prime time?
And then
we hear it all the time as Cowboys fans, right? Like, Jesus, I'm sick and tired of seeing they're on 12 times a year.
Especially early in the season. People are into it anyway. They're going to watch anyway. When they're going to watch the NFL, period. You know what I mean? So you don't even have to have the Dallas Cowboys on TV as that big root every week, unless it's like a situation like tonight where it is a truly big game. So there we go. Where we at? Oh, Jacksonville and Indianapolis. This game was at halftime. When the game kicked off, the Colts were a 1.5-point favorite. Score now, Jacksonville 14, Indianapolis 13. The Jags now a 1.5 favorite. You want Indianapolis, Ronas, you're coming back at plus 105. The Colts will win this game on a kick.
Yeah, they're outplaying them big time. 257 to 166 in yards. We've talked about it, how they're really moving the football via the pass. You might be starting to see that Jacksonville defense wear down if this continues.
Yep.
I mean, and Deion Jackson, man, 6 carries for 22 yards, but 8 receptions for 76 yards, man, killing it in PPR.
Check, baby, 1-2. So if you picked up Jackson and threw him in your lineup and the PPR, you are getting it done today. New York Jets, Green Bay Packers tied at 3 at the half. Packers laying 4 at home. You want the Jets, you're coming back at plus $1.90. The total is 26.5. Patriots and Browns. Pats up 10-6, laying 3. You want to get in on Cleveland. You're coming back at plus 150. And we are back underway between the 49ers and the Falcons. San Francisco down 14. Atlanta has 21. Falcons laying 3.5 at the break. Give over now in the third quarter. You want San Francisco. You're coming back at plus 145. I had like Atlanta in this spot anyway. I feel good that 5.5 will cover. Is it worth double dipping and hopping on the Niners live number, Ronas?
I think it is. I think they can win this game. My concern is the defense, but I think they should be able to move it offensively and put up some numbers. So I think it's worth a shot.
What do you think, Tom? This one right here, is it worth a shot with the 49ers in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the Falcons blow leads already this year, and again, I don't think they have a ton of personnel on defense. So I agree with Ronas. As much as Jimmy G can struggle in these games, I think they can get the offense rolling in the second half. And if you're looking for an underdog, that would be the one, considering they had opened at a 6-point favorite.
Yeah, so there we go right there. That's where we stand as we start to push into the third quarter, second half of most of these games. Don't forget, about 30 minutes from now, Lisa Ann will join the program. Preview was coming up a little bit later on, and our 4 p.m. Eastern time starts. Also, she'll help us look at a big game for tonight as you have 4 Dallas Cowboy fans talking about the Cowboys and Eagles. That game getting ready to go down in the link. Ronas, before we go to break, I do not know what happened. I saw somebody running and some players jumping up and down, but I do see where the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the red zone. It is 4th and 4 now. Looks like they're going to settle for a field goal, but Pittsburgh opens up the second half and they get right into field goal range, possibly getting ready to take a 13-9 lead over
big kick return.
Kick return, yeah, that's what it was. It was a big kick return, and then
that guy needs to do a few more sprints because he should have scored. I don't know how he got caught from behind.
And Pittsburgh did get the field goal, so it is 13-9. So we'll probably see some more Brady screaming at the special teams now.
All right, so here we go now. Come back on the other side, get you caught up to date with who our leaders are right now at halftime. And like I said, we push to that 3 o'clock hour. Lisa Ann joins the program, and we start to sweat the end of the 1 p.m. Eastern time starts. Stay right here. We'll be coming back in just a few moments on the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network. The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got
Body
hurt.
didn't change.
We'll never know that for sure either.
No, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
I just get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he'd finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he could put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man.
Yeah.
So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Back to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown!
How's your fantasy team performing today? Where's your action? What's on the game day menu? The Bettor Zone is the place to celebrate your passion for football on Bettor Sports Network.
That Irv Smith Jr. touchdown courtesy of the Minnesota Vikings radio network. Vikings now up 10-3 on the Miami Dolphins down there in South Beach. Third quarter is underway in that game. Matter of fact, Miami got the football right now. Teddy Bridgewater on the center. Looks like they got a 4th and 1 coming up right here. So we'll keep you abreast of what's going on down there at Hard Rock Stadium. Before we get into the leaderboards, I do have a question. Well, Ronis, I know you probably have some box scores up in front of you. Who is getting it done for Atlanta? Why have they're dominating this? Even the score is only 21-14. They're in the red zone now. They're dominating this game. They're dominating the 49ers right now. They're probably going to go in and go up 2 touchdowns. Is it Mariota? They got the red helmets on today, too. I love those red helmets. They have some nice helmets.
Mariota just had a big run. He's up to 51 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, 107 through the air with a passing touchdown, only 9-9 through the air. Huntley is actually leading the backfield, 10 for 40. Algiers 8 for 27. And London is 2 for 35. Zacchaeus 356. Kyle Pitts 2 for 12.
Kyle Pitts an afterthought.
But you see what they did there, Corey. It's a fake dive play. Mariota pulls it in, runs it for 22 yards. I've never seen the Bears run that play. Yeah, and Justin Fields is a better runner than Mariota. So that's what I mean. Like I know, I don't know what the reason is why they don't use Pitts. That is a definitely a legit complaint and argument. But I just feel when I watch Arthur Smith and the Falcons, they look like a real team. You know what I mean? Like they're doing things that help their personnel outside of Pitts. And when I see some of these teams, that's not what I'm watching.
We just watched the Miami Dolphins try a fake punt to no avail. Minnesota now set up an even better field position. See what they're able to do with it. Told you the Falcons are in the red zone, so we'll see what happens with that. But this may be the most shocking thing of all time. We are into the third quarter of the 1 p.m. starts on Sunday, and Justin Fields is still QB1 on the week.
Right?
Show you what kind of week we're
Corey,
having.
you want to hear a funny story on that? I had over 170 3 yards passing.
Wait, I think I saw something.
Not a Kyle Pitts touchdown.
Oh my God! Does it count? Are there any
Kyle Pitts?
Yeah.
See, Arthur
Breaking
Smith.
Breaking
Arthur
news.
Smith.
Kyle Pitts has scored a touchdown. Hit the touchdown sounder. Kyle Pitts is in the end zone. He does the dirty bird. It's amazing. The goalpost says, "Stop hate. Stop hating on Kyle Pitts, Arthur Smith. Oh,
I
man.
hope people started him. I mean, I had him ranked as, 8th at tight end. I mean, you had to play him, though. Like, you just got to keep running him out there every week, and you hope that, you have games like today. So I know it's been a slow start, but you got to just play the guy.
Yeah, no doubt. You got to keep going. You got to keep going back to him because, I mean, it's tough. If you drafted him, you got to play him because a lot of people drafted him over Mark Andrews. That was the crazy one right there. You know what I'm saying?
I had him 3rd behind Kelsey and Andrews. But, yeah, look, I get why the expectations were so high for this guy. And it clearly he has not lived up to it. But there's still a long season to go. But, yeah, I mean, man, I'm so glad I changed that pick. I was on San Fran all week, and I looked at their defense. I said, yeah, they could be in trouble here. Again, I think San Francisco's a good team, but they lose this, they're 3-3.
Yep. But here's the thing with San Francisco is you kind of feel like they're going to get back in it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they will, yeah.
Yeah, and you feel like they'll be there in the end. And when San Francisco gets to January, you're not going to want to play them as they could start to get healthy and stuff like that, and that they sit that running game on you. So, see, a team like San Francisco can, they've been to the NFC Championship game, twice in the last 4 years. So you know that they can make it there. But, some of these other teams, you got to see them play well from the start. Now, with that being said, we do have a new QB1 on the day. It is Marcus Mariota. Mariota getting it done on the ground and in the air. 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown for Mariota. Justin Fields, QB2. QB3, Tom, is your boy, Joseph Burrow. 126 passing, a passing touchdown. He's also run for 24 yards and a rushing touchdown as the Cincinnati Bengals try to get back into it in this road game versus the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because he's got some good numbers, but I don't believe Chase does, right? The defenses are starting to really take him out of the game. What's Higgins doing? He's playing, right?
Yeah, 2 for 8 is what I last saw.
Yeah, I mean, geez, that's an odd stat line, huh? That Burrow is one of the top fantasy guys, and his 2 top receivers aren't doing much. They got to figure that out because this is my theory on the Bengals. No defense in the NFL is good enough to take away those 3 receivers. Not good enough. So figure it out. And what you got there is you got another guy in Zach Taylor. Got lucky to go.
Lattimore's out too.
No imagination.
Out too. Yep.
No imagination. I mean, listen, guys, football can't be that difficult. You got 3 quality receivers, and none of them can get any catches. No, I'm not buying that for a second.
The New York Jet defense is continuously in the backfield.
Yeah.
I hope they got the ambulance close by there in Green Bay, Corey, because somebody's going out on a stretcher for the Packers. Every time I look up, there's guys like limping. And
all right, QB4 on the day is Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has already 30. Matt Ryan going into the 3rd quarter, 26 of 37, 232 in a touchdown pass. I guess Ryan says you're not going to be able to blame me today. We hope that is the case later on today.
Well, for now, there's still time.
For now, we're not going to be able to blame you.
Yeah, that was like, guys, last week, I was too bad I wasn't on the show. I had the over in the Titans-Washington game, and I needed the touchdown at the end.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even have to watch, right? You knew Wentz was going to throw an interception. So be careful when you say you can't blame Matt Ryan. They give it the whole game.
Yeah, you're right. QB5 right now, Jimmy Garoppolo, 127 and 2 touchdowns for Jimmy G. Bailey Zappi, who a lot of people think is just as good as Mac Jones, 209, a touchdown and a fumble. He just threw a touchdown as well. Listen, 17-6. New England up over Cleveland. Zappy, listen, one thing we can say about this year, the backup quarterbacks have performed well in most situations.
They've been better than some of the starters.
Yeah. You can't play worse than Mac was playing.
Right. That touchdown was to Tyquan Thornton, who made his debut last week. So he scores the touchdown. And, New England up here. And, the Cleveland's not designed to play from behind. They want to run the football, and, I think they'll continue to run it because it's 17-6 early in the 3rd. But, that's you put Jacoby Brissett in situations that you really don't want to happen, especially against a Bill Belichick scheme defense.
Yeah, no doubt. I do have a money line play on the New England Patriots. So hopefully we get that one home. Lamar Jackson, QB7 on the day, 142 passing, 36 rushing. No touchdown for Lamar yet. Giants in Baltimore getting it on in the Meadowlands. Trevor Lawrence, sunshine. Is that only 8? Trevor Lawrence, 8 for 9, 67 yards in a rushing touchdown. Rushing touchdown saving his day. Lawrence, he's not a starter in fantasy, right, Lawrence?
No, he's a high QB2. There is a league though where I am starting him because it's one of those situations where I think that one I drafted Trey Lance and had Lawrence as the backup, and it's 20 roster spots, so a lot of quarterbacks
already
are
rostered.
Yeah, so
but Lawrence does have the Jaguars in the red zone right now, but they are actually going to be backing up. But that was a false start, so interesting to see if they can get some more points on the board. Kenny Pickett, QB9 on the day so far, 68 passing yards and a touchdown. Also 16 rushing yards for Pickett. Kirk Cousins, QB10 on the day, 94 passing yards with a touchdown for Cousins. Andy Dalton is QB11, 93 passing yards, a passing touchdown for Dalton. QB12 is Daniel Jones, 90 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. QB13 is Tom Brady, 156 passing yards, 13 to 25 for Brady. Not a good performance for Brady in this game so far. He's getting the yardage. Indianapolis defense stinks. He's getting the yardage, Tom, but man, it's just like meaningless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
Rodgers sacked again.
Give the Colts some time. They got all that talent on defense.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Everything will work out in the long run.
Well, Trevor Lawrence, a 2-yard rushing touchdown. So he's not getting it done with the pass, but 2 rushing.
I feel like I'm sweating the Colts in the second half every week, right?
We might have to start bailing on them too.
And you know what I feel like is going to happen? They're going to get close, and then they're going to do something stupid, right? So that's probably how this is going to end up.
I don't know how they're losing this game when you look at the stats. It's one of those things, right?
All right, well, we'll see what Matt and Ryan can get done. Right now on the day, the wide receiver 1 is Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk already with 2 touchdowns on the day. He is having a pretty big game so far for the San Francisco 49ers as they are down 2 touchdowns right now versus Atlanta. Dante Pettis from Thursday night, 84 receiving yards on 4 receptions, also scored a touchdown. Michael Pittman of the aforementioned Indianapolis Colts has 10 targets. He has 81 receiving yards on 8 catches. Darnell Mooney, 7 for 68 on Thursday night. Paris Campbell did get into the end zone, 4 catches for 23 yards and a touchdown for Campbell. Chris Godwin has been Tom Brady's favorite target today, 4 catches, 74 yards. He's been targeted 9 times. Traquan Smith was able to get into the end zone for the New Orleans Saints. He has 2 receptions on 2 targets, 33 yards in this touchdown.
Dalton to throw. Does throw. Near sideline is going to be a touchdown to Traquan Smith. That's how you do it. Bing, bang, boom. Traquan Smith, touchdown.
Bang, bang, boom. 20-14. New Orleans Saints over the Cincinnati Bengals. New Orleans down in the red zone right now. So they're looking to add on to that score. Just so it looks like a big stop by Pittsburgh down there. But still, so we're going to
they'll throw a flag. They'll throw a flag to give Tampa another chance. There's already been like a couple on this drive. I mean,
so we're going to 3rd and goal right now in that game. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches, 66 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson has 2 catches for 20 yards. Justin Jefferson not playing up to expectations right now. Well, he does have 4 for 52. We normally expect bigger performances. And Tyquan Thornton, who we mentioned earlier, 2 catches for 14 yards. Right there. So everybody's getting it done. Ronas, you Hill and Waddle, concerning going down the stretch as long as they don't have Tua?
But yeah, I expect Tua back next week, so I think it'll be better for them. So I don't think you need to worry. Did you say you played the Mark Andrews receiving yards prop?
No, I didn't. I was looking at it, but it was juiced too high.
What was it? Was it in the 60s or 70s?
It was in the 70s.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that might be an auto play every week at this point, man.
Yeah, I was where it was one of the first ones I look at today, Ronis, to be honest with you, but I thought it was too high.
Why?
Even though it was too heavily juiced. That's what it was. The juice was too high. I wasn't going to pay $1.67 if it was $1.67. When mind you, I'm offshore. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. But I was looking at it at $1.67.
Yeah, I mean that's like the go-to guy every week, man, and especially with Bateman being out. I mean, he's like got 76 right now.
Yeah, and the Ravens have to score here because going back to Corey's point, they get a field goal. They're up 13-7. That's kind of with the Giants, how they play.
Yeah, they do need a touchdown here, man. They've been controlling play. And, like you said, you leave this Giants team in the game and, Barkley can break a play or even Daniel Jones with his legs.
Yep. So, I think, oh, that was almost a disaster right there for the New York.
Yeah, as I praise Mark Andrews.
Yeah, he almost gives it up on that one right there. Did the Steelers just miss that field? I mean, that was a flag on that play. All right.
They keep throwing flags on Pittsburgh. They wait, Tampa can't lose this. Throw a flag.
Yeah, we can't have Tom
Anything?
Brady.
Wait, someone breathed on Brady? Roughing the passer.
Yeah, there you go.
Last week.
About 15 minutes from now, Lisa Ann will join the program. We'll look at some of these second half games, get her thoughts on what's going on. She is the host right here on the Bettor Sports Network. A couple nights a week, you can catch her on Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamler. Got the Baltimore Ravens in the red zone. They're going to throw a flag on that. No, they don't. So we are going to 4th and goal now, right, Ronis, in that game at the Meadowlands?
Yes, 4th and goal from the 5.
Yep, and there's the Giants. Giants are one play away. One play away.
Yeah, man. Come on, Ravens, cover this.
A Providence luck factor peeking its head through again, getting dominated, down by 6.
And I don't think this. Okay, Randall Cobb questionable to return with an ankle injury, and Zach Moss is inactive.
Oh, Zach Moss inactive. James Cook.
Yeah, if you're desperate, right?
Yeah, if you're desperate.
Look at those Jets. Look at the Jets, baby. This is why I didn't put Green Bay in the Survivor article, bro.
No doubt.
Braxton Berrios.
Touchdown. Right. There you go. So New York Jets get on the board. New York Jets take a 10-3 lead over the Green Bay.
The Packers back-to-back weeks lose to the Giants and the Jets.
Well, and the thing is, what I wrote, I took the Jets in a post for my pick, and my analysis was, who gave the Packers the right to be a touchdown favorite right now? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at their body of work over the entire season, they've beaten one team convincingly, and it was the Bears.
Right.
The others were either a loss.
Didn't they pull away late in that game too? It was a Sunday night game.
But every game's either been a close win or a loss. Now you're laying 7 points with a team that doesn't look good. I just didn't understand it. And I know the Jets are the Jets, but listen, look, the Packers are in trouble.
They still might cover, but they have looked horrendous most of the year, and they look horrendous today in the first half. And like we talked about before, again, I don't know why they aren't running the ball, especially with Aaron Jones. The guy's averaging 6.4 yards per carry, and he's got 6 today. I mean, they're not running the ball either. Maybe today's a bad example. They're 14 carries for 28 yards, but it's not like the passing game is working that well either. So find a way to get the ball in Jones's hand in the pass game. He has 1 reception for 6 yards.
All right, that's where we stand right now. New York Jets getting it done. Also see where the Indianapolis Colts are once again driving the football. They're about 8 points down right now, halfway through the third quarter in that game, as they try to march down to get into scoring, scoring territory. Right now, the number 1 running back on the day is Deion Jackson of those Indianapolis Colts. He has 8 catches for 76 yards, 26 rushing yards. Kenyon Drake, a surprise RB2 on the day, 91 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Also has 8 catches. Joe Mixon, right now in the PPR, starting off with 15 fantasy points. You got 4 receptions for 23 yards. He's also run the ball for 29 yards. Is ready. Ramondre Stevenson, talked about him coming into the day. It's possibly a guy who could have a big game. Stevenson has 59 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. He also has 2 receptions and 10 receiving yards. Travis Etienne has played well today. Couple of big runs, no touchdowns. He does have 20 yards receiving, 81 rushing yards for Travis Etienne. Now, Jermichael Hasty is the one with a touchdown. Hasty has 61 rushing yards, and he also has this touchdown right here.
JaMycal Hasty's now the running back on 3rd down and a yard from the 39-yard line. It is Hasty in the game as the running back. They give it to Hasty, tries the right side into the open field. 45, 40, 30. No one's going to catch him. Inside the 10, inside the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown. Are you kidding me? JaMycal Hasty just exploded for the score.
There you go right there. Jacksonville Jaguar, JaMycal Hasty gets on the board. Jacksonville with an 8-point lead right now. Indianapolis is driving and looked like I saw a play that could have been a hands to the face of Matt Ryan. I don't know if they made
the passer they called.
They did call roughing the passer. Okay, so there you go right there. Drive extended. Brian Robinson, RB7 on the week. He had a rushing touchdown, 60 yards rushing. Najee Harris gets it not really going. He does have the receiving touchdown, but only 20 rushing yards.
Hey, look, if you have Najee Harris, you will take this.
Yeah.
You've got to take it with what we've seen.
Yeah, I have Alvin Kamara, who happens to be RB9 right now, and I'll take it with what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? Kamara, 76 rushing yards. He also has 5 receiving yards on 2 receptions. David Montgomery played well the other night, 13 carries, 67 yards. He also had 1 catch. Big Leonard Fournette, 13 receiving yards, 52 rushing yards. And Antonio Gibson, who we agree is the better running back in Washington, 35 receiving yards. So right now, he is QB 12. When you look at the tight ends, I want to go through these right quickly. Mark Andrews, tight end 1 on the day, 6 catches for 94 yards for Andrews. Bobby Tunyon, tight end 2, 6 receptions, 61 yards. Kyle Pitts, yes, right, you heard me right. Kyle Pitts is tight end 3, 3 catches, 19 yards and a touch. Tight end 4 is Irv Smith. He has a touchdown with 3 catches. Keelan Granson is tight end 5, followed by Michael Pruitt, Jonnu Smith. David Njoku has 2 catches for 37 yards. George Kittle is tight end 9, 3 catches for 25 yards. Mike Gesicki, tight end 10, 2 for 35. Hayden Hurst, tight end 11, 3 for 21. And then we have Hunter Henry at tight end 12, 2 catches for 25 yards. I see a Cincinnati Bengal doing the gritty on the screen. Joe Burrow just connected with Jamar Chase. New Orleans up 23-20 over the Bengals. This game coming down to about 3 minutes left to go into the 3rd quarter. That's where we stand right there. Let's take a break before we head out and bring Lisa Ann in and start to get ready to break down some of these 4 p.m. Eastern time starts. Got the possible game of the year coming up tonight, or at least the regular season version with the Bills and the Chiefs. Want to get her thoughts on that. Also, 4 Dallas Cowboy fans discussing what's going to happen tonight between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles and this NFC East battle. All that when we return right here on the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Sports Network.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network. Bettor Sports Live with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
We've talked about this. You're not into that, to the dynasty thing.
I don't, dynasty is like a long-term relationship, and that just is really tough for me, Rick, I understand. It is such, and then when you say the 2 things that you say that probably scare me the most is a 14-team dynasty. Then I'm like, oh, this is a now complex relationship that requires a lot of my attention. Not
and
just
a dog that you don't like and all of that stuff, right?
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
I wish they'd get rid of instant replay. I think it's damaging to the sport. I just don't like it.
They will never get rid of instant replay on the broadcast. We demand it, and that's why. Remember, replay kind of rose out of the fact that people would sit at home and say, "Why can't they look at this? Why can't they see? I get to see the replay, and I know it's wrong. Why don't they get it?" So that said, okay, we'll have replay. Ray, we're never going to get rid of replay. No. Like you couldn't say, "Hey, the NFL will get rid of it, but we're not going to show it on broadcast." What if the NFL said, "We'll get rid of replay, but we will not show any instant replays at the stadium"? Would you be okay with, you'd still get them at home, and you could still yell at the TV, but the ref can't hear you there.
Right.
I feel part of it is they have to have replay because the millions upon millions of people watching the game have replay. So, like, you can't not have replay when everybody else has it, but the guys making the decisions don't have it. Like, you gotta have replay. It's impossible.
It is impossible. It's just my dream. It doesn't help.
You get better dreams, Ray. That's not really like
it doesn't help. That's the thing. If we use replay and it creates as many questions as answers that it solves, what's the point of it?
Well, it's not going to change, Ray Flowers. You're going to be an old man still yelling at the replay cloud.
Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
From left to right, Mariota looks. Now going to loop, and Kyle Pitts caught it. Touchdown. On U.S. soil, number 8 has a touchdown.
How's your fantasy team performing today? Where's your edge? What's on the game day menu? The Bettor Zone is the place to celebrate your passion for football on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, that was the Atlanta Falcons Radio Network. Kyle Pitts gets in the end zone for all his fantasy owners. It's been a day that you've been waiting for. While we were away, guess what? The Indianapolis Colts tied the game up. Deion Jackson gets a touchdown run, 2-point conversion from Matt Ryan to Michael Pittman. Also, while we were away, while targeting David Njoku, Jacoby Brissett throws an interception. So that game still New England 17, Cleveland 6. Lisa Ann will be joining the program about 5 minutes from now. Help us break down some of these evening games. Right now, I want to go through a quick scoreboard run. Atlanta 28-14 late in the third quarter. Falcons up 2 scores, laying 8.5. You want the 49ers coming back. You're paying 5.7. You got it at plus 575. New England Patriots 17. Cleveland Browns 6. The Jets just blocked them.
Yeah, they blocked the punt and scored. 17-3. Jets over Green Bay.
Jets, Jets.
By the way, I think they took that Pittman 2-point conversion off the board. I think they ruled it incomplete.
Oh, scored. I did. 21-19 now. Jacksonville 2-point lead over the Indianapolis Colts. Going to be interesting to see. I'm almost certain that that's going to be something that's going to affect the outcome of this game. Yeah, exactly. I'm quite sure that's how this game is going to end because of that. Now, right then, next up we have New England Patriots 24, Cleveland Browns 6. Somebody must have just scored because that was 17-6, right? Bailey Zappi hits Hunter Henry for a touchdown. New England goes up 24-6. New England laying the wood to the Cleveland Browns. Right now, up 15. Right now, you want to get in on this game with the Browns.
Yeah, don't bet the Browns money line right now.
Yeah, the Browns money line is plus 1,700.
For a reason.
Jacoby Brissett's the quarterback. Probably not going to happen. Jets 17, Packers 3. Tom, if you want to get in on the Packers, you got plus 360.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen them get a first down all game, so I don't know if it's
probably not a good bet.
Listen, I took the Jets thinking they could keep the game close, but I wasn't expecting them to completely dominate the football game, especially I don't know, man. Again, this is a winner. Whoever wins or loses this game, there's a lot of problems in Green Bay now, and as I pointed out when I took I don't know if it's fixable in 1 week. They have a lot of problems there, and. I'm with Ronas. I think they got to sit down and say, okay, where's the strength of our football team? We got 2 running backs any team in football would love to have and feed them the football. These guys aren't getting. Meanwhile, the 4th string running back for the Colts is getting 1,000 more touches than our 2, elite. It doesn't make sense. So I think they got to sit down and figure out what kind of team they are because this isn't the old Packers with Aaron Rodgers throwing it all over the field. He's getting murdered today.
All right, right quick, couple things. Kenny Pickett took a shot and is out. Trubisky is in for Pickett. And then if you listen to Corey Nando and friends this week, I will cover one for the Gipper parlay. We had a parlay where we wagered $5 to win $1,300. We bet the Steelers to win, the Falcons to win, the Patriots to win, and the Jaguars to win. So that's where we're at right now. Now we do have the Panthers on here, but they're going to give us a cash out option. So this thing right here could possibly happen right now, which would probably be one of the bigger stories of the year. But right now, happy to welcome in a good buddy, friend, co-worker, analyst right here on this channel. Lisa Ann joins the program. You can catch Lisa Ann on Wednesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Rick Kamler on Better Sports Live. Lisa, what's going on with you? How you doing?
Not the most exciting day in the NFL for sure. How are you all doing today?
We're doing well. We echo the same sentiments as you, but let's start off talking about this game in Green Bay. The New York Jets, they blocking kicks and scoring touchdowns. Braxton Berrios, they knocking Green Bay Packers out the game. How about the Jets, Lisa?
Yeah, I've been thinking all week that this was going to be a really exciting game to watch. What we saw happen to Green Bay last week up against the Giants in London was like, wow, how is this season going to play out for Aaron Rodgers? If this was another time, we'd have looked at this matchup and said, you know what? This is a get-right game for the Green Bay Packers. They're facing the Jets, but the Jets started to come on. We've got Breece Hall. Things are starting to happen for the Jets, and now here we are. It's different without Devontae, and it's also different without the defense really working and the line to protect Aaron Rodgers. And you can see the frustration. Him and Tom Brady, both a lot of frustration this season. And you can see why. A fumble earlier in the game by Dylan. Like, these little mistakes add up to be a big problem because now you're down 17-3 in this game.
About the other New York team, which has to be one of the bigger surprises in the NFL, the Giants at 4-1. Now, they just Daniel Jones took a sack, so it looks like they will be settling for a field goal attempt. But if they do hit it, they're only down 3 to Baltimore, who has been one of the better teams this year. I mean, the Giants have got to be one of the biggest stories in the NFL this year.
They are and they aren't, right? Everyone's giving Daniel Jones so much credit when I really think it's the defense that is making the difference by not having to force Daniel Jones to work so hard, right? This is kind of a low-scoring game. We're looking at the third quarter. Going into the half for most of these games, the scoring was like all you could think is under bettors on the total are happy right now, right? Everybody that bet the under on any of these games. But yes and no is how I kind of feel about the Giants. They do look good and they have made some plays happen, but I don't think it's as much of the offense as it is the defense.
Yeah, Lisa, you mentioned that it's been kind of a sleepy early slate of games. Hopefully business is about to pick up in about an hour. We got a couple of good games coming up. We got the Chiefs and the Bills. The Chiefs have really struggled to stop Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes, an underdog at home. You never see that. Who do you like in this game and why?
It's hard to see Patrick Mahomes an underdog in KC. I'm kind of looking at the Chiefs as being able to get this done, even though I love Josh Allen and what the Bills have put together. The Mahomes experience and how much experience he actually has. The missing piece with Tyreek Hill does make a difference, but I still think this is a battle that emotionally means something. Travis Kelce really heated up last week. I think he's going to continue that, but you got a much better defense on the side of Buffalo than you do the defense in Kansas City.
I'm glad you mentioned that. And let's hop into it a little bit with this game right here, Lisa, because I'm on the Buffalo Bills. I think this one plays out the way the Rams and the Bills game played out earlier this year. I think that Buffalo is going to win the game. I think the Bills can win the game by double digits, to be honest with you. I think it's a Buffalo win and the under. But I can see, why people are on Pat Mahomes, because him and Andy Reid kind of have a way to figure out a way to get it done, much like they did much like they did against Vegas last week.
Agreed. But week 1 was really a display for Buffalo, right? And we knew what Diggs could do this year, but now he's starting to spread the ball around. I've been really waiting for Dawson Knox to kind of come to life. And I'm hoping that this is the week up against Kansas City where all of us, fantasy managers who have our shares of Dawson Knox and have not given up. It's hard not to give up at this point, but when you're facing bye weeks, you really just can't be letting a viable player going. So I'm looking for Dawson Knox to get in the end zone today.
All right, Lisa, let's get right into it right quick. You know what I'm saying? Let's get right into it. Let's cut the chase. You got 4 Dallas Cowboy fans here. You know what I'm saying? I, for one, do not have a way. I'm not wavering on this game because let me tell you something. I've been here enough. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, the past couple years, the Cowboys have dominated the NFC East, including the Philadelphia Eagles, particularly recently. This game opens up 5.5, pushes up to 6.5. I did not see that coming, but no Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush continues to get the start. The Eagles home. How do you feel about this game tonight?
Corey Parson, I am exactly like you. I am not wagering on this game. We've all been Cowboys fans for a really long time. What concerns me really more than anything is what the Eagles.
what the Eagles can put out there. They can put everything on the field this week. The Eagles have a bye week next week. So I just feel like they're just going to there's no reason to let anything loose. We know that the home team's going to get a little bit of points just for the home advantage, but the Link is a tough place to play. I love what Cooper Rush has been doing. Look, we had such little expectations. I think many of us wrote off the season as soon as Dak Prescott was injured. So that's been a nice recovery story. But in this week, you got two really good defenses. Dallas's defense is really pulling through as well. It's going to be interesting to see how we're working our coverage, who's going to be, shadowing CeeDee Lamb, who has been dealing a little banged up there. That's not awesome, but Michael Gallup came back and is looking great. So this is the 1 week where I decided in the league, I'm going to bench Zeke and I'm going to play Breece Hall. And I've been a little bit like on opposite weeks with Breece. You know how you go for
that's
that?
An easy
like
call. You really think that's debatable, Corey?
To bench him altogether
for Breece Hall?
I had to bench him. My other choices were too good. I couldn't get him in a lineup. Man, I'd have to go to this league right now, Corey, which I will do. But there's so many.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
The options were too good. I wasn't gonna not play Kamara because look at how many missing pieces there are in New Orleans, right? It just came down to like me just going back and forth, but. This is going to be a great game to watch. I'm glad we get a nighttime standalone game with two teams that are going to go out there and play some really good football. I just wonder what the Eagles will have prepared for Cooper Rush.
I mean, Elliott is absolutely benchable right now. He really hasn't done anything this year. He has one rushing touchdown. He's barely involved in the passing game, and he's averaging 3.8 yards per carry. I mean, I rank Breece Hall over Zeke every single week going forward.
How many touchdowns has he scored this year?
One, Zeke. He has one touchdown. That's it. And he's gone over 55 yards 2 times. And he's not involved in the passing game. He has 5 receptions on the season, man.
Is he washed up?
What do you think, Lee? I don't think he's washed up, but he's clearly not what he was. I mean, you see Pollard has more juice, but I mean, look, he's had a lot of touches in his career. I mean, it's not age, it's touches. All the touches in college and all the touches in the NFL. And he's one of he doesn't miss games.
He doesn't miss games, exactly.
I agree with that. I don't think he's washed up, but I think his best football is behind him. And I think maybe there's been times where he hasn't 100% focused on his body the way that he should to really elongate that career. It really takes that dedication, that lifestyle, all of the little pieces there. But I did think it was debatable.
Why did we come to you for advice? You could help him with that.
Well, I could, but
I know.
I'm right now. I'm trying to find which league it is. I made this move so I can tell Corey. But look, too, like Saquon, like look where Zeke was drafted compared to where Saquon drafted. For you three, Tom, Adam, did you guys, Corey, did you guys draft Saquon? And in how many leagues did you take the chance? Because I went in heavy on Saquon. I'm so glad that I did.
I did as well. I felt like the year after his injury, and I thought the Giants would be a little bit better than some. So I'm with you. I took a shot, and if you watch the drafts that we were in, I'm sure you guys as well, that he was slipping a little bit sometimes. Not to round 5, but through Cam Akers was going ahead of him in a couple of drafts that I saw. So I think we did get some value there.
Yeah, the reason why I liked him was partly what you said. He said last year he never felt 100% confident. Then he had the injury where he stepped on the Cowboys defender. He came in healthy this year, sounded more confident, and you knew that he was going to get a huge workload. They were not taking him off the field, and there's very few running backs that you can say that about. Unfortunately, he has stayed healthy so far. He did have the scare in London with the shoulder, but yeah, I'm heavily invested in Barkley. And I had a Giants fan text me week 1 in the first half, like, oh, what is wrong with you? Why'd you take Barkley? And then like 10 seconds later, Barkley broke off a big run. Oh, I was just kidding. Good pick by you. Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Alan Lazard gets in the end zone for Aaron Rodgers, scoring that game now 17-10. New York Jets up on the Green Bay Packers. That game into the fourth quarter now. Interesting to see how that one will play out right there. Lisa, when you look at some of the other games on the slate tonight, the situation in Carolina has been bad so far this year. Well, it's been terrible, to be honest with you. Not even bad. They've already fired the head coach. Steve Wilkes comes in there, and then he fires the defensive coordinator like he was waiting to get the job so he can get rid of that guy. Baker Mayfield, not benched, but hurt, but benching would have been appropriate for Mayfield as well. But then they go to Los Angeles today to face the Rams, and I'm like, hey, you never know because the Rams ain't been that good either. I mean, Matthew Stafford not playing well. The Rams not running the football well. They're getting run on. The Rams, matter of fact, the Rams to miss the playoffs was like minus 115.
First and foremost, I would love to be able to fire somebody my first day at my new job.
Can you imagine how that dude just
you know
came in there and fired somebody?
Here I am. I'm in my new
Corey,
spot. You know what, Corey? You're out of here. Adam gets your pay. Tom, we're not sure about you yet. Okay, like that's first and foremost. Well, and what else is crazy is you've got both of these teams in a situation where we're hearing rumors of trade for Christian McCaffrey. What's going on there? And then the other day, Cam Akers is like, "Oh, this is a personal thing. Now it's a football thing, but it's not an injury thing." Like, I just feel like it is legit imploding. I wish they would reconsider taking Odell back into the fold. I understand the Robinson contract has really kind of put them short when it comes to the salary cap, but you know, he's passed all his physicals. He's ready to be back out there. He's starting to meet teams, and he was the difference maker. Now you got Cooper Kupp with a little bit of a foot injury, which is going to be nagging. Cooper Kupp has been misused and abused, overused, and not any other factors. Higbee's getting some targets, yes, but Stafford is leaning on him too much. That makes you feel like, wow, if there's no Cooper Kupp, would the Rams have enough offense to beat anybody? This game almost turns into looking like trash, but we also know the narrative that most teams, the week of a firing of their coach, when things get shaken up, what happens? They go out there and they play lights out ball because they want to prove, right? Yeah, they're like, you know what? He sucked. Our locker room is so much better without him, and now we can win. Best thing that ever happened to them was Baker lands on the bench with an injury because Baker's just not Baker anymore, no matter where he is.
We also have at 4:00, Seattle hosting the Cardinals. How about the story of Geno Smith? Everyone buried this guy. He's done. He's played better than Russell Wilson this year.
Yeah, he's played better than Tom Brady.
That's true.
And not only has he played better than Russell Wilson, he's getting paid a lot less than Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson made us believe that it was Seattle that was in the wrong, that he couldn't cook because they wouldn't let him cook. You know, let Russ cook. Like, Russ can't cook. I've heard this expression. I love it. He's microwave only at this point, right? Because he just can't cook. But like Geno Smith is just blowing our minds. And it's great to see because in drafts, we were seeing the value of Lockett and DK Metcalf really slip. Like you're truly discounting how good these two are. I mean, Tyler Lockett's such a gadget player, really able to do that toe drag swag. Nobody has it like he does, right? He catches balls. You got to watch the replay like 3 times like he's in. So Geno's just blowing us away and also emphasizing that Russell Wilson's best football may be behind him as well.
But Lisa, I'd like to get your opinion on this because before you came on, we were just talking about how like there's no good football teams. Like, you know, the Eagles, maybe, I guess the Bills. But if there was a team right now that you could buy for the rest of the season, who would it be?
I'd probably let Adam Ronis draft it. You know what I mean? I'd probably just go into one of his leagues and I'd be like, put this team together for me. But if I could buy a team, it would probably be the Buffalo Bills. Even though I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, I love the energy that their fans bring, not just the white tables, but also the Bildos. Like, I think the Bildo thing is hilarious. Also, I love it so much. Okay, I love it so much. And also the fact that if you've ever noticed, like, they are so big in charity. And whenever something happens to an opposing city or to an opposing team, or they helped out Andy Dalton's, they raise so much money, Bills Mafia. They are just great people. And it's been so cool to see their fans actually, they've been so loyal, even though they were horrible forever. And now here they are. But, you know, they just bring it. They just bring it. Like the Home Depots in that area have to order more of those white tables than any Home Depots in the U.S. And I'm like, you guys are amazing. Like, you want to jump through tables for your team. Like, you want to throw Bildos on the field. Like, I love all of this. Bring it all.
You've never been to that stadium, have you?
No.
Okay, because I don't remember you talking about that. But yeah, that would be a good environment to go to one day.
The big game for Mark Andrews continue. He just caught a touchdown. So now the Baltimore Ravens with a chance to go up 20-10 on the New York Giants as they get into the fourth quarter of that game right there.
But if you do go real quick, I have been to that stadium back in the 90s and I wore a Cowboys jersey. Maybe about the best decision of my life, just so you know, when you do go to the stadium.
You can't
Go
do
ahead.
that at a lot of places. You can't do it in the link. And what's crazy about it is when people would argue with me about it, I go, you do realize that it takes an opposing team to actually have a game with your team, right? You do realize that. Like, I should be able to wear whatever I want, but they're not down with this. So you wear, you know what? You do the little chonies and some socks with your team on it underneath your pants and your shoes, and you're good.
Lisa, we know you got to get ready to get up out of here. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question right quick. What do you think of the situation with Devontae Adams from Monday night?
You know what? Devontae Adams has never showed us a sign of him that was disappointed, right? He's never had off-field issues. He's never really made a mistake. He was very frustrated. It was a really tough loss, and he was running at the tunnel. You could see, if you watched it from multiple angles, that his eye line was straight up looking at the tunnel. And in his mind, I imagine he was thinking, just get me out of here. I need some space. I need a shower. I need it's very upsetting to lose the way that he has. Their record is absolutely horrible. And the camera guy running out in front of him, like, wait a minute, buddy. Like, do you know the speed and the size of a player who's running with this much intensity? I feel like it was the camera guy's fault 1,000,000%. You have to be aware of your surroundings. And as somebody who's had people shove photos in my face and I've had a black eye over somebody just insisting they get their phone in my face to get a photo, like, I can relate on both sides. I don't like the negative conversation about a player like Devontae Adams that hasn't been on the wrong side of law. And I also don't love that these people can just sue. I mean, you guys saw Kamara. It's going to be a $10 million lawsuit for Alvin Kamara. It was released on Friday. Like, $10 million. Like, come on. Everybody on their cash grab. Like, stop with your come up this way. I think the NFL should definitely have waivers in place because let's face it, there's a lot of sound guys and a lot of broadcast guys on the sidelines that get hit by accident and they never sue. Why is this guy going to make Devontae Adams look like a bad human being?
All right, so there we go right there. Good stuff. Good answer. Thank you a lot, Lisa. Really appreciate you, and good luck to our Dallas Cowboys tonight.
Good luck to our Cowboys. I'll be watching that game. And also, Adam, I saved power. I'll be watching it tonight. Adam got me on. Okay, don't even tell me, but I love it so much. Have a great day. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, thank you. That's Lisa Ann right there, co-host of Bettor Sports Live with my man Rick Kamler on Wednesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Bettor Sports Network. Before we head out the break, tell you about that Alan Lazard score. Adam Thielen also scored in that game right there. We also saw where
the Jets extended that lead.
Mike Gesicki scored it. Yeah, I saw where the Jets. Breece Hall scored for the Jets.
So at least I cashed a prop. I had over 59.5 rushing yards.
He bust a long run too.
He's good, man. I might catch a bad beat. Nick Chubb, I have over 18.5 rushing yards, the longest yard. He had an 18-yard run. If I lose on a half, man, that is just the worst. But
hey, Ronas, let me ask you: have the 49ers ever had the ball in that game?
In the second half, it feels like
in
they
the
don't.
second
Right?
half, yeah. They had an interception. That was it. I've only seen them on offense once.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they haven't really run the ball much today. Jeff Wilson, 7 for 25 on the ground. We're not used to seeing that, but they were down 14-0 after the first quarter, and that put them in a situation that they really don't want to play. They like to run the football a lot, but they've kind of had to abandon the run. But yeah, I mean, it's 51 plays for Atlanta, 42 for San Fran, but Atlanta's had the ball for 32 minutes, 20 for San Fran. So that's why you don't see them.
This was a terrible spot right here coming into my opinion for the San Francisco 49ers. We'll see how it plays out. Speaking of terrible, Mike Gesicki scored a touchdown. A pretty terrible gritty. We talked about it, Tom. The gritty, he was coming to cha-cha slide.
He looked like my 7-year-old son. He looked like my son's trying to do it. And just so you know, my kids play center, so they're not the gritty kind of people. So yeah, we've jumped the shark on that one, Corey.
Yeah, we really have with the gritty. Let's get another dance for everybody to do because I can't. I thought Mac Jones took the cake, but Gesicki, my goodness.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you think about the Bucs and the live money line with them? I mean, are they really going to lose this game? This is
not
embarrassing.
Playing good.
I know. Well, they haven't really all year. And I think we're doing this every week. Oh, this is the week the Bucs offense breaks out. It's not happening, man.
Right now, Steelers plus 130 on the money line. Steelers are in the lead and the plus 130 on the money line. If you want the Bucs You're paying 155 on DraftKings. I'm not doing that.
That's whack for I see that too. And the Steelers just got the ball back.
Yeah, I mean, Brady will probably lead them down. Okay, I mean, how we've seen this 10 million times in our lives. I mean, if the Steelers got to score again. They got to score again.
Kenny Pickett is out for the day with a concussion, so we probably won't see him next week. I mean, that's what you guys think now with all these concussions, right? We're not seeing guys. It's like they're automatically out that game and another week, essentially, what we're seeing at this point.
You know what? Let's get into that, and let's get into roughing the passer. When we come back on the other side, we'll also hit a leaderboard and get you some live lines. We are into the fourth quarter of most of these games right here. So shout out to Lisa Ann once again. And that's it right there. It's the better zone, Better Sports Network. We'll be right back with Corey, Tom, and Adam.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone. On Better Sports Network. Corey, Nando, and friends. Presented by Mayo Media on Better Sports Network.
I'm convinced that Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Babe Ruth is not real. No, it's not. Babe Ruth is not real. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. We've been led astray. We've been run amok. Babe Ruth, I don't know the rest. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. I'm dead serious. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Y'all are never going to get me to believe that Babe Ruth is real. Babe Ruth is like a baseball Santa Claus. I'm not buying it. After I saw those highlights last night of Babe Ruth, I'm like, there's no way you can tell me that Babe Ruth is a real person. Who do you know? There is nobody under the sound of my voice that has ever seen Babe Ruth play. I asked my pop, you ever seen Babe Ruth play? He's like, no. Nobody's ever seen Babe Ruth play.
I mean, come on.
I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Even Babe Ruth baseball cards, it looked like it's drawn. Like, Babe Ruth is not real. Y'all trying to pull a fast one. Listen, I don't know who made this up. Maybe it was Phil Rizzuto. Maybe it's the Lenny Melnick. But Babe Ruth is not a real person. There's no way. Everything about Babe Ruth is sketchy. If you didn't go to the games, how do you know that it really happened? Or I listened on the radio. You listen to Ovaltine on the radio. That old school radio was all fiction. Everything on old school radio was fake. But you think Babe Ruth is real.
Look, he lived until 1948. So if you find someone who's like 85 years old, they might have remembered him when he was little, when they were a little teenager.
Babe Ruth was made up by baseball purists. I am certain.
You do that thing where you pause the Babe Ruth video and you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in. And you see like some artist autograph like right here.
Some
digital art right here. Yeah.
Somebody needs to investigate this and see if Babe Ruth is a real person. I'm pretty sure Babe Ruth is a fictional character created to make people think that like there was this great jolly old baseball player that drank beers and ate hot dogs and hit 60 home runs. Like the home run record before Babe Ruth was like 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
now he figured it out. Like who figured out the dunk, right? Like he's just like,
that's like Dr. J or something, right? Then Dr. J, probably was before Dr. J, but Dr. J made the dunk famous. Babe Ruth made the home run famous, or maybe that was a way to get people to like, we're gonna make baseball America's pastime. But in order to do so, we need somebody who we can make the face of the sport. And they didn't have no face of the sport. So they're like, okay, let's make him a fictional guy that played for the Red Sox and was traded to the Yankees for like tickets to tickets to cats. You know what I'm saying? Like the Red Sox get a Yankees.
You tried to say
is there any footage of Babe Ruth in the Red Sox uniform? None. I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character.
Empty backfield with 5 wides as Burrow waits for the shotgun snap back at the 20. It's 1st and 10 at the 15. Burrow catches, looks, fires, boom, chase, touchdown!
Yeah. How's your fantasy team performing today? Where's your edge? What's on the game day menu? The Bettor Zone is the place to celebrate your passion for football on Better Sports Network.
All right, back up and Adam, Better Sports Network, Bettor Zone. Corey, Tom, and Adam. That audio.
Hey, Corey, can I say something?
Bengals Radio Network. Of course you can, Tom. That's why you're here.
When we were away, we heard during the commercial your Babe Ruth rant, which to be fair is maybe the dumbest rant I've ever heard. But I gotta be honest with you.
You think Babe Ruth is real, Tom?
I gotta be honest with you. You're making me think a little bit. You're right. I've never seen Babe Ruth in a Red Sox uniform. This story might be made up. At first I was thinking, man, where is Corey going with this? But then as you kept going, I started thinking, and I say he might be right. I don't know if Babe Ruth's real.
Telling y'all, just be careful with the Babe Ruth stuff.
There's a lot of things we're told are real that are not, but that's a story for another day.
All right, that audio courtesy of the Bengals Radio Network. Bengals driving the football right now, as are the New York Giants. New York Giants in the red zone last I checked. Bengals down 26-21. Burrow takes a sack. Something must happen, and I think I'm about to find out what happened in the Meadowlands.
Yeah,
Bingo, touchdown, New York Giants. Daniel Bellinger from Daniel Jones. 20-16 now, extra point pending. 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of that game.
Wait, Tom, you might have hit a prop here. What was your Kittle line?
42.5.
He's now got 53 after his latest catch. Congrats.
There you go, right there.
Well, we had to work for that one.
You did, yeah. It's a little bit of a sweat here, man. It seems like the props are a real sweat today, man. I mean,
unless
to be honest, the way this day started, I was like, geez, I got a prop on somebody who's kind of a big name player. I don't know if I'm going to hit it with all these weird players going off today.
Yeah, man, it's been a rough day so far. I know I hit the Breece Hall prop, but I had an Aaron Jones prop that's probably not going to hit. And I got Mike Evans, man, over 64.5 yards. He had 38 early, and I haven't really seen him at all since. Oh, wow. And Pittsburgh has the ball 1st and 10 at the Tampa 11. Wow.
This is interesting right here.
38 yards.
For the first time today. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was just going to say, I really, really like Ronus's betting cap of the Breece Hall over longest rush moving forward, and you can just see, man. That's why I took the season. He's a player, and you see that in college. But now that he's starting to get fed every week, I think you're right. I'm going to be watching that next week to see what it opens at.
I know there was talk about the Jets having the best defensive rookie and the best offensive rookie. We'll break that down tomorrow on Corey Nando and Friends. That Buccaneer spot is interesting. For the first time today, the Pittsburgh Steelers are now the favorites. As a matter of fact, the Pittsburgh Steelers just scored. I saw where the live board went up 19-12. Chase Claypool gets a touchdown, Ronis.
Now, Corey, do you have the list of like the most popular Survivor picks?
Wow.
Tampa's got to be up there.
Tampa was up there in Survivor. Tampa was up there, and so was the Packers. The Packers were up there in Survivor again this week. And
look, Ronis and I are shocked every week.
Look,
every week
look, I wrote up the Bucs, so I'm not acting like I get everything right. I wrote up the Bucs. I still stand by it. I'm stunned by this, but the Packers were not in mine. Again, Tom and I, we had this discussion. They have not played well. They should have won. They should win this game, but I didn't have them in the top 3. And I will say Survivor is very difficult, man. It's not easy. I'm not saying
it's harder than picking against. I don't say it's harder than picking against the spread, but to do that to do that for 17, 18 weeks, that's extremely difficult. You know what I'm saying?
It's
luck.
It's almost impossible at this point. It's close to it. I mean, look at the first few weeks, how many landmines people hit. You know, you had to be in multiple or one that gives you the double knockout. I mean, so many people have been eliminated the first few weeks with, it seemed like obvious ones. And then as the weeks go on, and so what we talk about, who can you trust? I don't trust anyone right now.
No, you can't. You can't. It's very difficult. Pittsburgh Steelers up 20-12. Now, still plenty of time left to go in this game. 9 minutes to go. That is Tom Brady on the other side. But fascinating. If you want to get in on the Buccaneers right now, you're getting them at plus 225. Tom, is there been anything
on the money line?
25 for the Buccaneers on the money line right now?
Ooh, that's tempting, man.
That is very tempting. But Tom, I ask you, is there anything that you've seen so far in this game to make you want to put your dollars behind that?
No, but I think now, like before you mentioned, it was like, like sometimes you mention it and the value isn't there. I mean, if there's some value there now if you want to take the Bucs to win this game. But wow, that's I'll be honest, I'm stunned. I'm stunned that the Steelers are winning this game. And I know in the NFL, there's not a huge difference between they're all, but I thought the Steelers were kind of done. It just goes to show you, man. So these coaches, like I know, like Pete Carroll and Tomlin, they're not on the cutting edge of analytics. Either is Belichick, let's be honest. But these guys who can coach, they just get the best out of their teams, even when they don't have talent.
Do you think this was because Brady was at Kraft's wedding on Friday?
Here's the thing. I heard about that, right? I think Tom Brady is like mature and a veteran enough to go out and have a good time and still be able to play the game. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it was Zach Wilson, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
But how many moms did he leave with? That's what your first question was.
Wild story, man.
But that's a great point, though, Corey. Like, you know, when back in this was a long time ago. Now it was 2007. But when I was Brady was always there at 5, 6, 8. I mean, there's no work ethic issue with Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? And he's earned that right. And that's what I always say about Dak. You can say Dak is overrated, blah blah, but Dak works his tail off. He's getting every inch out of his talent that he can possibly get. And when you have guys like that, you know, I'll go to war with them.
Teddy Bridgewater trying to lean a comeback in Miami. Vikings 16, Dolphins 10. Just over 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Keep an eye on that one. That's a one-score game right there. Baltimore Ravens getting their drive started right now. Ravens still laying 3.5 late in the fourth quarter. You're coming back with the Giants at plus 440 if you want to get in on that and believe on that. But I think Lamar should have enough to get this done. Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence just now with a big run down deep into Indianapolis Colts territory. Colts on top of that game right now, 26-21. Colts laying 1.5 live, minus 130 on the money line. Jaguars coming back at plus 100. Trevor Lawrence with that run deep into Colt territory. Still have 4 minutes to go in that game. So the Colts could get the ball back with a chance to hit a kick to win like I predicted, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of one-possession games here for sure coming, which is what we expect in the NFL. And someone test Kenyon Drake for PEDs?
Yo.
Dude, you said you had to start him. I mean, he's got 10 carries for 119 rushing yards and a touchdown.
Off. Yeah, like Kenyon Drake going off. You think J.K. Dobbins is in trouble the rest of the season now?
It's not that he's in trouble. It's just, he's coming off a big serious injury, man. You know, that's why I avoided him in drafts. I was worried. And we've seen him kind of being scaled back here. He hasn't looked great. He's got 7 carries for 15 yards, and we said that in the first half. I don't think he's had a carry in the second half.
Fumble! Yeah. The Dolphins fumble in plus territory. Vikings recover. 4 minutes to go. Minnesota has the football and a chance to win the game and successfully lay the 3 points. A fumble from Jalen. That's Jalen Waddle? From Jalen Waddle deep in plus territory for the Miami Dolphins. A tough break for them as they were looking to possibly
take the lead. I got to see. Did Smith knock it out, or did he just lose it trying to fight?
I think he was trying to get extra yards and lost it. But like I said, I sort of play. He punched it. Did he punch it? Yeah, he punched it.
Okay,
he punched it out. So there you go, right there, Jalen Waddle with the big turnover. I believe the Bengals must have bogged down and kick a field goal, scored 26-21. 2 minutes left to go in that game. We're going to see, very nice play, touchdown, Jacksonville Jaguars. Christian Kirk from Trevor Lawrence.
And I was going to play Kirk's prop. I lost on it last week, and I was going to go back to it. I shied away. Good thing I did. He's got 12 receiving yards. I know he scored just a touchdown, but I understand that. But, man, I mean, I know they haven't had the ball a lot today, but, 12 yards for Christian Kirk. It's like 3 weeks in a row after they were peppering with targets. He has 3 targets today.
Not a good
3 catches, 12 yards.
Like I say with Lawrence, sometimes you see Lawrence and you be like, I can see it. And then sometimes you see Lawrence and be like, this guy is terrible. You know what I mean? But I still think it's a work in progress. Jacksonville going for 2 right now. If they get it, it'll be up 28-26. Incomplete. No 2-point conversion is no good. 27-26, 2:44 to go in that game.
Wow. Did you know
this? Ryan get to come on the field. The Giants with the ball back. Wow.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It's like they do every week. They stay close and make a play.
I just saw the graphic. I didn't know the Giants are the last team in the NFL to get an interception this year.
Oh, wow. That one
I didn't know that.
Was that the
fumble? Were the Ravens driving there?
Yeah, no. So I think he fumbled the snap and then tried to roll out to his right and throw it and got picked. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Here. We're about to see a big play here.
I think the Giants are going to win this game.
Don't tell me that, man.
Oh,
it's just the way their season's going. I mean, look, they're getting fumbled snaps for interceptions. It's one of those years.
The 2 big plays just now.
So I got a feeling Jamar Chase scores.
Yeah, he does.
Here we go. Here we go. Jamar Chase running down the sideline. Now we'll see a grade A gritty. You know what I'm saying? If I was Jamar Chase, I would just stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing this no more.
You know him and Jefferson are going to be on the phone soon saying, man, we got to come up with something cooler than that. Grandmas are doing it.
Yeah. So right now, Cincinnati gets back in it, pulls ahead. So right now we have Cincinnati Bengals.
Well,
30.
you're right, Corey. He didn't do it.
Yeah,
he didn't do it. They must have already had the call.
Bengals 30, Saints 26. Saints will get the ball back with a chance to go down the field, and I'm about to say cover the spread, but they're not going to play cover the spread.
Dalvin Cook a 53-yard touchdown run, and then Cousins to Thielen for the 2-point conversion, pushing that game 24-10 now.
24-10, 3:15 left to go in the fourth quarter down there in Miami. So it looks like the Vikings are going to successfully lay the number in that one. Bengals, I know Bengals were a big play this week as far as ATS play. They have a 4-point lead right now. Saints still got time to come down and possibly win this game. New York Giants right now in the red zone. Giants trying to take the lead, and they go inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 2 for the New York Giants. Indianapolis and Jacksonville, Matt Ryan trying to drive them down. Just over 2 minutes to go in that game. We got the New York Jets in the red zone, 24-10. Jets over the Packers. That game's just about wrapped up. That's crazy as that may sound. Well, you still got 9 minutes left to go in that game, but another Jet touchdown will probably seal the deal. Atlanta Falcons are going to beat the 49ers 28-14. 49ers came in 5.5 points favorite. That number steamed down all the way to 3.5. Atlanta looks like it's going to have a rocking chair win. Also, the New England Patriots, 3-point road dogs. Looks like they're getting set for a rocking chair win, up 24-9. But still got 6 minutes left to go in that game right now. So right now it is the New York Giants that we're paying attention to see what that goes. Also got situation developing, see what the Buccaneers can do, and we will see what still got the Buccaneers. Oh, and the Indianapolis Colts, Matt Ryan getting ready for that drive right there. So that Dalvin Cook touchdown for his guys. I do want to get into some of the guys that have not performed well so far in these games. We'll get into that as we get into the 4 o'clock hour and push on towards the end of this program before we hand it off to my good friend Holden Kushner and along with Pilar Lashra. So that's where we stand right now. Let's hit the leaderboard right quick as soon as I can pull that up while we are waiting for some more of these games to have some more action on right now. There we go. Leonard Fournette. Why is Leonard Fournette getting up acting like that? Come on, bro. You're not getting it done. You know, they're struggling. Now you acting tough. Interesting.
Matt drive.
Brady. Okay. All right. Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady driving is a matter of
come on, Tampa man. I need to hit the sevens prop, bro. It's killing me. I need overtime in that game.
Tampa Bay 2nd and 11, just outside the red zone for the Buccaneers. So they try to get back and possibly even the score with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe this game goes to overtime. Maybe Tom Brady could pull one out deep at the end. Just so where Teddy Bridgewater threw another interception. That just happened? Yep.
Yes, it did.
There you go. So looks like that one right there is going to be out of reach. So this is the Bridgewater interception. Right now, quarterback.
How much for that Miami Dolphins parade?
Yeah, that turned boy. Right, and that was about as bad as you can throw. Yeah, I think Bridgewater's washed up, bro. I
think we'll see Tua next week.
Yeah, definitely. We have to. You know what I'm saying? He was on the sideline today. Joe Burrow right now is QB1 on the day. He has 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. QB2 is Marcus Mariota. Mariota got it done on the air and in the ground, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. 50 rushing yards for Mariota. If he was back in on the over on his rushing prop, that one is going to cash. Is that Donovan Peoples-Jones touchdown?
No, it's our boy Amari Cooper.
Oh, I had him in the lineup today too. Well, he stays in the lineup, so I'm glad Coop got that one done. Brissett to Amari Cooper. That game not quite over yet.
Not over.
Yeah, no, not by any stretch of the imagination, particularly with Bailey Zappi playing. So the Browns could get back into this one.
Well, it's a
Keep
big
an eye on
2-point
that.
conversion here. That's going to be key. Wow. Oh, incomplete. Now down 9.
The Giants in the 6-minute timeout. What's going on?
Yeah, it was a 2-minute warning. Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing though too. Like that's, sometimes guys like Lamar are so talented and athletic, it bites them. I mean, that's a sack for any other quarterback. You know what I mean? And then the Giants, man, this is something.
This is unbelievable, man. Like you said, some teams have to get lucky. Again, they're well coached and everything, but they've had a lot of things break right for them, man.
Yeah,
they have.
Yeah, and then this was even the game where Baltimore was putting up a fight and scoring in the second half. We did see Mark Andrews get a touchdown. Baltimore was driving the ball, unlike other second half collapses, but that turnover is going to be big, and the Giants making the plays when they do count.
And they just got a penalty in the end zone, looks like. So 1st and goal for the Giants to take the lead.
All right, so the Giants have a chance to possibly take the lead right here. As we continue. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so that
the Bucks have scored.
Okay, so Tampa
Brady to Fournette.
That score right now. So now it's 20-18. Pittsburgh and Tampa.
There's a lot going on for the red zone to be showing me Jacoby Brissett sitting on a bench.
Oh, so
did Daniel Jones throw an interception?
But I guess it was called back because of a penalty. That's what it was.
That's the penalty. That's the penalty. Yeah.
What was the penalty? Did you see it? Was it holding?
No, I just saw Twitter telling me that Giants got bailed out by a PI.
Yeah, I was okay.
Oh yeah, you could see it though. Yeah. So bring that back, Baltimore.
And then on the ensuing play,
Barkley scored.
Yeah, who I have in fantasy, but man, I don't want to see the Giants for this game. And I got Lamar Jackson, so come on, Lamar, lead him down the field. Give me some more points. Let's go. I can't deal with the Giants at 5-1, bro. Sorry, I live around too many Giants fans. Okay.
Oh, that Lawrence Taylor jersey.
I'm the same way. I got the over their win total, but at this point, I'm rooting against them. These Giants fans are just they're way too happy. I can't stand it. I live in upstate New York. I got to see them every day.
I live close to MetLife, man.
Oh yeah, that's it. So you're in the same boat. It's just it's money's one thing, but these guys are way too happy.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on, And the thing is, too, and they know it, they're not that good. But at what point do we say, if they go to 5-1 and beat Baltimore and Green Bay, it's like, and how it's just amazing how they're doing it too, man. Now, getting Robinson back obviously has helped, and he's played a part today. But yeah, I mean, what they're doing, it goes back to changing the culture and Dable as coach. I mean, it's clear. We kind of knew it from day one. That's what you were hearing. That's what you were seeing. You could just see his enthusiasm. I love seeing him in the locker room last week all pumped up. That's what I want from my coach. I don't want Joe Judge, who's boring and dead. Come on.
No, Joe Judge. Now, Joe Judge not going to cut it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, think about it. It's almost the same team from last year. I mean, I know Barkley's healthy now.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
It's something we said a couple weeks ago. I know Daniel Jones isn't lighting it up, but he's not playing poorly. In that Cowboys game, I was extremely impressed with the way he was getting pressured and still completing passes. So it's good coaching, putting players in position to be successful.
And, getting them to believe, getting them to play hard and be prepared. I mean, we've heard stories. There's a lot of teams where there's no motivation. Guys aren't working hard.
Right.
All right, so 20-18, Pittsburgh Steelers over the New England Patriots. Pittsburgh, Mitch Trubisky in at quarterback now. Going to have a chance to go on a 4-minute drive, see if they can ice this game and get the victory. New York Giants up 24-20. Baltimore Ravens coming back to win the game, plus 240. Lamar's going to have a drive where he's going to have to score a touchdown. A little over a minute left to go in that game. Cincinnati 30, New Orleans Saints 26, right? Now, here's the deal. The Saints have the ball at midfield, and it's Andy Dalton, right? So it's going to be tough for them to score.
Big spread drama here, Corey. Big spread drama in that Saints game.
Yeah, 100%.
And Colts Jags, too.
Yep, because it's not going to be no field goals kicked. The Colts can kick a field goal. and they're driving down into field
I guess
goal range.
didn't it close at 1.5?
It closed at one. It closed.
Yeah, it was 2 for most of the week, and then it closed at 1.5.
So yeah, it's pretty big right now, depending on what
that
side
would
you're
give
on.
it. I had took the Colts in the contest. That'd be 29-27. So yeah, I need that because that's not a money line play right there. I got a money line in my personal wagers, but and then I just lose. I just lost the page right there.
Jalen Waddle.
Ravens. I saw that Ravens are plus 250 to win the game. You betting it or no?
Lamar Jackson comeback drive. I'm probably going to stay away.
I'll stay away, but I kind of want to bet it. But then again, this Giants luck though scares the crap out of me right now, man.
All right, so we got 4th and 17 right now. Probably a last ditch effort. Like I said, Andy Dalton's the quarterback, so there's no Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. So maybe Traquan Smith can get behind somebody. But other than that, this will probably be.
So if I would have told you before the year, after week 6, the Jets will be 4-2 and the Giants will be 5-1,
I'd have said no chance.
Right? It's
no chance.
Unbelievable.
I don't know, man. Someone here wrote an article back in May for the Post about the Jets and the Giants.
You think? Oh, you like both of them?
Yeah.
To be in the Super Bowl. So you had a Super Bowl with them too?
No, I didn't expect them to. I didn't expect them to be. I didn't expect the Giants to be this good. It was more of over wins and a flyer on them to win the division at plus 700.
3rd and 16. Trubisky first down. Big play right there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They could very well be on the way. Well, it's still got the 2-minute warning though, but they do get a big 3rd and 16. If the 4-minute offense can work, Pittsburgh can put away Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That would be huge. Lamar Jackson takes a sack. Is that a fumble?
Giants won.
Fumble recovered by the New York Giants. Minute 30 left in the go in the game.
Baltimore has 3 timeouts.
Yeah, Baltimore does.
Kick a field goal, get it back.
Yeah. Oh, you think the Giants not going to try to run some clock, Cronus? Well, you're right. They do have to
timeout. Run. So if they get a first down, obviously it's over. But they're going to run 3 straight plays. They're not going to. I mean, I would think. This is nuts, man.
One of the things I always look at coming in the year, we saw it the year the Niners went to the Super Bowl, is that sometimes defenses are ranked poorly, but it's because of the offenses. You know what I mean? Like the year the
100%.
Niners went to the Super Bowl, the year before they were ranked 22nd in defense. That's because they had 4th-string quarterbacks playing. They couldn't get a first down. Giants were very similar.
Matt Ryan just got tackled by the turf monster, dropped him back on the pass. Oh my goodness, man.
Hey, Matt Ryan, bro, get it together.
Did you see it?
That's your own. What are we doing,
the
Matt
center,
Ryan?
yeah. His feet got tangled up in the center. Unbelievable.
Bloop. 1st and 10. 2nd and 13. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable. So we're getting ready to wrap up.
Just let Barkley score at this point. They're already going to win the game. Just let Barkley score. Come on.
I'm trying to make it work for you, huh, Ronis? Still got 6 minutes to go in Cleveland. Patriots up 24-15. Don't know who's handling the football right now, but that's the case. We got another big 3rd down in Pittsburgh. Steelers got the ball. Trubisky back to pass. Missed Trubisky. 3rd and 11. Did they?
Chase Claypool made a hell of a catch.
Look at that. Pittsburgh Steelers moving the ball down the field.
Going back, what do I know about Survivor? I had the Bucs and the Ravens as 2 of my 3 teams. I don't know.
Yeah, so there you go. Tom Brady on the hat right now, wearing the baseball cap. When he gets back in the game, it could be a little bit too late. Or Matt trying to pull off some kind of miracle comeback. So that's where we're at. Jets up 27-10 over the Packers. Still got Jacksonville, Indianapolis Colts.
Your money line dog play is live.
It's
right?
live. It's real live.
And are you going to cash it out?
And here's the thing: Nando's going to have a good cash out on that too, because there's only one game left. The Carolina Panthers. You know what I'm saying?
I'd cash
out.
And
let me tell you something: DraftKings does not want you spending $5.
Oh no! Saquon Barkley goes down. He was going to score. He went down.
Oh,
come on, bro!
Barkley goes down. If somebody loses their fantasy matchup by 6 or less points,
come on!
Wow! And Saquon gets the first down. He goes down. New York Giants getting set to run out the clock and upset the Baltimore Ravens in their building. Ravens will fall to 500 on the season. Interesting in the AFC. Bengals now back in the mix in that division as well.
Oh!
Matt Ryan threw an interception.
No, touchdown, Alec Pierce.
Yes, baby. Let's go, Matty Ice. Way to get it done, Matty Ice. Well, I never doubted you, Matt Ryan.
Yeah. Can we go back 15 seconds?
He said, oh, you didn't doubt him when you said Matt Ryan throws an interception? Big touchdown right there. Indianapolis Patriots, Alec Pierce for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan gets it done. 32-27, 17 seconds left. This was a big one right here as AFC South trying to figure it out who it's going to be. Tennessee Titans, Jacksonville Jaguars, a lot of people like, and then the Indianapolis Colts trying to not turn their season around, but trying to get back rolling after a poor start. So that is where we are at right now. All right, I still want to get into the loser book before we get out of here, but let's take another break, come back, reset, get back to the leaderboard and watch the conclusion of these 4 o'clock starts, and we'll have some kickoffs coming up, particularly that big one in Kansas City between the Bills and the Chiefs. It's the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for waffles.
I eat breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's the equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got the steak sandwich, which was
steak sandwich at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an odd guy. I'm not an odd guy.
Yes,
you are. Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough, smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that. No,
Alfredo, that's what he gets at the steakhouse.
Do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse to get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look. You know,
the name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffles, man.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Jones over center. Handoff Barkley, leap free end zone, touchdown Giants. And the Giants have the lead with 1:43 to go. Jackson in a shotgun set, calls signals, takes the snap, he's back to throw. Under pressure, hit by Thibodeau, ball comes loose, and the Giants scramble for it. It's still loose, and ball recovered by the Giants at the 12-yard line. Kayvon Thibodeau gets his first career sack in big fashion.
All right, New York Giants pulled off the upset, close to pulling off the upset, knocking off the Baltimore Ravens in their building. Giants keep getting it done, improved to 5-1 on the season. That call audio of the New York Giants radio network. Bettor Zone right here.
What do you guys think about the Ravens? But geez,
I think they'll get better as the season goes on.
They got some bad losses this year.
If the Ravens are not in the AFC Championship game, they need to fire the offensive coordinator. I think it's that time. Listen, the offense is
but this sounds to me like your Fields rant. Let's blame everybody like Lamar because we like Lamar. I mean, let's be honest. If that was Jameis Winston making those plays, we'd say that's on Jameis.
So, okay. Yeah, I think this
I'm not saying they're not there. Listen, they're good. It's kind of like
true.
when Tony Romo was the quarterback, right? Like they were 8-9 wins because of I'm saying they won games because of Romo, but sometimes Romo made dumb plays.
No
right?
doubt.
He did. And I think Lamar is very similar. Listen, they're not even close to the playoffs without Lamar. I'm not saying that. But sometimes he makes a play here or there where it just that's a tough play.
Oh, by the way, we talk about the money odd boost a lot. So you guys are well aware that the Cardinals haven't scored in the first quarter this year, right?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, they haven't scored. So the DraftKings money line boost the other day was Seattle to lead after the first quarter plus 150 in the money line. So they're not. Arizona's gonna.
Well, we just seen where Kyler Murray had a big
he's
run.
finally running again. Like he started doing it late last week. Like what took so long? Oh wow, nice.
Listen, I'm not worried about Seattle. They got Geno Smith.
So we got third and so this game is underway 0-0 in Seattle, division rivals in NFC West, Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Looks like this is going to be a touchdown. No, it's not going to be a touchdown, but inside the 5-yard line is where the next play will be run for Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals in this matchup versus their division rivals, Seattle Seahawks. Also, PJ Walker on the field, Carolina Panthers and Los Angeles Rams. Panthers head coach Matt Rule fired earlier this week. Interim coach Steve Wilkes gets in, see what he can do for the Panthers. They're out there in Los Angeles taking on the Rams. So those two games underway. About 15 minutes from kickoff of the big 4:25 p.m. Eastern talk between the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. That game is in Kansas City. Buffalo laying 2.5 in that one. We are down to the 1-yard line right now for the Arizona Cardinals. I want to quickly get into some of the leaderboard stuff since we're getting towards the end of these games. Joe Burrow is QB1 on the day. Matt Ryan is QB2. Trevor Lawrence, QB3. Lawrence, 168 passing yards and a passing touchdown. Marcus Mariota got back to running the football today. He had 50 rushing yards, 129. He accounts for 3 touchdowns altogether. Teddy Bridgewater is QB5. He threw for 329 and 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions, some bad turnovers. Justin Fields, QB6 on the week, 190 and a touch for Fields. Jimmy G in a losing effort, 2 passing touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions for Garoppolo, who throws for 296 yards. Bailey Zappi is QB8. Zappi, 309, 2 touchdowns. Hey, Ronas, I don't want hearing about Bailey Zappi. He can do the job just as good as Mac Jones. Cut that foolishness out.
Did you get his MVP ticket yet or what?
Hey, Ronas, don't fool it. Don't start it.
Hey, look, now, the Patriots 3-3. Belichick, man, right?
Yeah, well, manage the game, play defense. You know what I'm saying? Do the things that the Chargers don't do. The Chargers don't manage the game well. They rely on
teams. A lot of teams.
Yeah, that's true too. A lot of teams. Tom, you talk all the time about the Denver Broncos and that disaster that's up there. Matt Amendola gets the field goal, 3-0 Arizona. They do not get in the end zone to start. Lamar Jackson, QB9 on the day, 210 passing yards, a passing touchdown, an interception, 77 rushing yards, and a fumble. Tom, to your credit, you did mention Lamar Jackson turned the ball over twice in this game. And this was a week where a lot of people thought Lamar was going to go off.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing it out there. Like you're looking at the Ravens, right? They 21-point fourth quarter lead against the Dolphins, blew it. 10-point halftime lead against the Bills, blew it. 10-point fourth quarter lead against the Giants today, blew it. Something's wrong. That, especially when you have an elite quarterback like Lamar Jackson, you get leads like that. Boy, those, how many leads of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes blow? When you have that quarterback like that, you got to win those games.
Ramondre Stevenson gets another touchdown, 37-15. New England Patriots rolling the Cleveland Browns in that one. Patriots.
What do you think about that, Ronas? You think it's goodbye Harris, or what's going on there in New England with the running back situation?
Probably not. I mean, I liked Stevenson before the year, thinking he had a good shot, and it still kind of was a split, and we saw a lot. But we do hear Belichick praise him. I think they use him in the passing game as well. Montgomery went down with an injury, so that opened it up for Stevenson. So look, I feel pretty good about him going forward. He had 4 receptions today for 15 yards, 76 rushing, 2 touchdowns. So, what was surprising is they were like, yeah, Damian Harris, we'll see how he feels in the pregame and work him out. And we know New England, that he was not playing. There was a report that it's multiple weeks. It is a hamstring injury, but we're going to deal with the same situation. He's day to day. Yeah, we'll take it up to game time and test him. But I would think Harris maybe could miss another week or two.
Eddie Pinheiro kicks a 42-yard field goal for the Carolina Panthers. Carolina goes up 3-0 versus the Los Angeles Rams. Lamar did turn the football over twice today. Not a good look for Lamar Jackson on that one. Kirk Cousins, 175, 2 passing touchdowns for Cousins. Minnesota Vikings get it done, 24-16 over Miami. Minnesota came into this game laying 3 points, successfully get it done. The Vikings are now winners of 4 straight games. Listen, Ronas, it is what it is. You play us on the schedule, you get the W's. You know what I'm saying? But they're not impressive. They're not impressive.
They haven't been. But I mean, they're getting the wins. And look, Green Bay losing, that is a big deal. They now have a 2-game lead, and they've already beaten Green Bay once. So they are in a prime position in that division.
Yep.
And I thought they would win the division before the year. I did, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this team is so good. And, maybe they get better because they haven't looked good, and it's a new offense and a new coach. So, but I think Tom mentioned some of the upcoming schedules a little bit more difficult in the weeks ahead.
Now, what's the Bucs record? I mean, the Falcons aren't going to win the division, but they're 3-3. What are
that
the Bucs
division
sitting at right now?
3-3. Also, that's their third loss of the season.
That's
the thing.
Shocking.
Is everyone gave this division to Tampa by process of the rest of the division being garbage. And
right.
The only team that's garbage is Carolina. That's what it looks like right now.
I mean, and the Saints, do we want to count them out yet? They've had a lot of injuries.
I wouldn't
either. They're a game out. Okay.
Yeah,
and
for real.
So
they win this game today. This is a totally different thing. But like you said, they don't have their quarterback, no Olave, no Michael Thomas. So you want to see what they look like, and then the injuries on defense. You want to see what they look like when they get the whole crew back. Right now, Aaron Rodgers, QB 11 on the day. Rodgers 26 for 41, 246 and a single touchdown pass. That's a big story going to be coming out. The Pittsburgh Steelers with the upset knockoff Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady 243 and a passing touchdown. Right now, Brady is QB 12 on the day. Tom, it's like, I don't want to say win one for the Gipper, but the Steelers still go out there, well-coached team, playing at home,
well-coached team.
No expectations, free, loose, and easy, and bang, they knock off the Buccaneers.
Yeah, and listen, this is how I look at coaching, right? Like, listen, Nick Saban's a great coach, but it's easy to coach Alabama. They have all that talent, right? When you have the most talent, it's a little bit easier to coach. I like to see what coaches do when the talent level drops a little bit. And you see Tomlin, the guys are out there playing hard. He's putting the defense in position. But I will say this. I always say by week 8, that's it. You are who you are, right? There's no more, the preseason, injuries, all this nonsense that people come up with. No. Let's look at 3 teams here. 49ers, Bucks, and Packers are 3-3. Those were 3 favorites to win the Super Bowl. So I think these next couple games with those teams, they better get it together. And I will say this about Kyle Shanahan, and I've said this before. Kyle Shanahan's a really, really good postseason coach, like whatchamacallit with the Giants that won 2 Super Bowls. Coughlin. But remember, Coughlin's team were always sneaking into the playoffs. They were always underachieving. Giants fans wanted a new coach. Shanahan reminds me a little bit of him. Like, I know he has injuries, but their teams don't overly exceed expectations in the regular season, but whatever he does when they get to the postseason is good. So I think those are 3 teams we really have to watch, because I don't think anyone thought all 3 of them would be 3-3 after 6 games.
I'll say with 2 of the teams you mentioned, they are still in a prime spot in the division. Tampa, again, we mentioned tied with Atlanta at 3-3. San Fran's 3-3. The Rams could be 3-3, and if Arizona and Seattle don't tie, one of those teams will be 3-3. So they're still in good spots as far as winning the division. And as we mentioned, it's just so much parity in the NFL right now. I mean, like you said, Baltimore.
Yeah, there's no good teams.
Baltimore's 3-3 right now.
Yeah. Baltimore's 3-3. They might win the Super Bowl. Who knows?
It's really crazy. I mean, unless you're in the NFC East.
Who thought that, though, right? I mean,
the best offense. Like the best offense
coming into the season that the best division was going to be the NFC East. I mean, I didn't see that one coming.
And like the best offenses in the league are like the Eagles, the Bills, the Jets, and the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? It's like those are the teams putting up the points right now. As Ken
and the Jets are giving you nothing from a fantasy perspective with these wide receivers. Elijah Moore didn't even have a target today.
No, the Jets are the Iowa Hawkeyes of the NFL. They got 24 points and they got 122 total yards of offense. You don't know how they got the 24 points.
Seattle Seahawks driving the football now inside the red zone. Ken Walker running well. Geno did fumble the snap just now, but turns a broken play into a 2-yard gain. All right, let's get into the running back leaderboard. Deion Jackson comes up big for this one. Touchdown for Jackson. 79 receiving yards, 42 rushing yards, 28 fantasy points. Ramondre Stevenson, big game for Ramondre Stevenson with 76 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Also caught 4 passes for 15 yards. Big Leonard Fournette, 63 rushing, 38 receiving, 6 catches for Leonard. Breece Hall, Adam Ronis, 116 and a touch. Also 2 catches for 5 yards. Is Breece Hall the leader in the clubhouse to be the offensive MVP yet? Because at this pace, it looks like he could get that award, because I don't think Pickett's doing anything.
Oh, for rookie. Okay.
The rookies, I'm sorry. Yeah, the rookie.
Yeah.
The
I was going to
rookie,
say, have you heard of Cooper Kupp?
the offensive rookie of the year.
By the way, real quick, J.K. Dobbins' knee tightened up. That's why he didn't see him in the second half.
All right, so that's something to keep an eye on throughout the course of the week. Kenyon Drake had a big game today. Kenyon Drake running back 5 on the day, 119 and a touch for Drake. Saquon Barkley a touch, 83 yards. Also had 3 catches for 12 yards. He could have had 2 touchdowns, but he preserved the New York Giant 24-20 victory over the Baltimore Ravens. Alvin Kamara, RB7, 99 rushing yards, also 25 receiving yards, 6 catches on the day for Kamara. One thing about Andy Dalton, he is going to get the ball to Alvin Kamara. Joe Mixon, RB8, 45 rushing, 23 receiving, 4 catches. Dalvin Cook, 77 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown for Dalvin Cook. He also had 1 catch for 6 yards. Najee Harris, not great, but you'll take it. 7 yards receiving on 2 catches. Also 42 rushing yards and a touchdown. JaMychal Hasty gets in the end zone, 62 rushing yards and a rush touchdown. Travis Etienne, 82 rushing yards, 20 receiving yards, no touchdowns. Touchdowns continue to be the problem for Mr. Etienne, but he is getting it done. When you go over to the wide receiver leaderboard, got off to a slow start today, but was a big part of helping Cincinnati Bengals get that 30-26 victory over the New Orleans Saints. It was Jamar Chase with 7 catches for 132, and here is one of his 2 touchdowns.
Empty backfield with 5 wides as Burrow waits for the shotgun snap back at the 20. It's 1st and 10 at the 15. Burrow catches, looks, fires, boom, Chase, touchdown! Yeah. Ran a skinny post. Burrow threw a bullet right on the money. Chase does the gritty.
Didn't do it the second time.
The second time he said, "No, I saw it, Mike. A second, he said, I'm done."
Yeah, they probably showed that on the jumbotron. He was like, "Man, I got to come up with something new."
Sauce Gardner walking off the field with a cheese head on.
Got it knocked off by Alan Lazard.
Oh, he did.
That's what it says.
Yeah, watch this.
Oh, look at that. Okay, a little rivalry going on between.
They cut. Maybe they're showing a different angle. They cut off the end. Lazard comes running up here, and
Sauce Gardner talking big trash for a first-year player. I love it, though. Sauce Gardner, New York Jets getting it done. The stage is set in Buffalo. That's getting ready to kick off soon. Back to the wide receiver leaderboard. Tyreek Hill, 29 fantasy points, continues to get it done. 12 catches, 177 for Hill. You know how they get down. Brandon Ayuk, 2 touchdowns today. The 49ers only 2 touchdowns. He also had 83 receiving yards in this game right here. Michael Pittman Jr., 13 catches, 134. Your man Pittman Jr. Ronans had a big game and a big win for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, can't complain. I mean, wish he would have had a touchdown or the 2-point conversion counts, but this is, what they need to do. They need to get the ball in his hands. And we saw a couple recent games where that didn't happen, but they elected to throw the ball a ton today and got the W as Matt Ryan attempted 58 passes and completed 42.
All right, Matt Ryan is going to have to ice that old arm tonight. Hey, Ronan's in the chat. Rook and Grind says, why was Hasty so involved today?
I don't think he was. I think didn't he have 1 carry? Is that?
Yeah, that's what I think he had that one big play. All right.
3. Okay, 3 for 57. And then 10 for ETN, 12 for Robinson, Lawrence Russell. He wasn't. I mean, it just sucked that it happened to be a 61-yard touchdown run, because if you have ETN or Robinson, you want them to have it, and it didn't happen, unfortunately.
Work and Grind, Tom, is Detroit live in the NFC North? I would say no. I know that people like them. They're a nice story. Dan Campbell seems like a cool guy to hang out with, but as a football coach, I'm not sure if he's getting it done. I think you can play Detroit against the spread every now and then when they're an underdog. But other than that, I don't think they're in the spot to win this division.
No, and I'll say it again. You have to worry about how they showed up against the Patriots. Now, luckily they got a bye week. Maybe they fix it. But we saw in Dallas with Wade Phillips, who wasn't an awful head coach. He's got a pretty good record, right? But when those player coaches get to the end and players start to check out, remember, I don't think Jerry Jones even wanted to fire Wade. But remember, they played Green Bay that Sunday Night Football game. They lost by 60. They didn't get off the bus. And that's what I worry about with the Lions. Listen, I actually like Dan Campbell. I think he's great for football. I think he's a good coordinator, position coach. But with these guys who do up downs with you, if you keep losing, pretty soon players check out. That's my concern with the Lions.
Yep, I would agree with you on that one. I think that's a good way to call it right there. Back to the wide receiver leaderboard. Chase Claypool, big day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Claypool with 7 catches, a touchdown, 96 receiving yards. Taquan Thornton, a rushing touchdown and receiving touchdown for Thornton. Paris Campbell, 7 catches, 57 yards, a part of that offensive air attack from Matt Ryan today. Alan Lazard, 4 receptions, 76 yards, a touchdown, and 1 knocking of the cheese head off the head of Sauce Gardner. Jalen Waddle, 6 for 129. Regardless of who the quarterback is, Ronas, these Dolphins wide receivers, they get their catches and they get their numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you like about it is where the football's going. I know we did see Gesicki score 2 touchdowns today, but 15 targets for Hill, 10 for Waddle, both over 100 yards, both big days, and that's what you like. And again, Tua probably returns next week Sunday night against Pittsburgh, so those two will continue to flourish.
But you said Waddle might have hurt his shoulder, right?
He came back.
Oh, okay, good.
Justin Fields, 6 for 107. Fields continues to have another great season. Deebo Samuel right now on the day, wide receiver 12, 7 catches for Deebo, 79 receiving yards. Deebo also obviously gave you something in the running game, but only 11 yards. And the 49ers lost today. Look for the 49ers to bounce back next week. They go back home. They get back to the West Coast. They get readjusted. San Francisco will be back. Let's get to the tight end leaderboard now. Mike Gesicki, tight end 1 on the day.
He deserves it. Let's be honest. He deserves it.
He really does. 6 catches, 69 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, and 1 terrible gritty Mike Gesicki. The tight end 2 on the day is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews doing what Mark Andrews does. 7 catches, 106 and a touch for Mark Andrews. I had Mark Andrews in the jock market today. We'll see how that turned out. Bobby Tunyon, 10 catches, 90 yards for Tunyon, 19 fantasy points. George Kittle, you cashed that prop, Tom, 8 catches, 83 yards, kind of where Jimmy G was going today. Hunter Henry also with a nice day, 4 catches, a touchdown, 61 receiving yards for Henry. Daniel Bellinger, 5 receptions, 38 yards and a touchdown. And how about this? We've been waiting all season long. I feel like we've been waiting his whole career, to be honest with you. But no more Michael Pruitt. It is Kyle Pitts. 3 catches, 19 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown for Mr. Pitts.
From left to right, Mariota looks. Now going to loop, and Kyle Pitts caught it. Touchdown. On U.S. soil, number 8 has a touchdown.
There you go. Kyle Pitts gets it done. Kyle Pitts supporters, he probably was on your bench, but you never know. Probably when you draft him as high as you did, you got to start him every week. So you got to pull up your pants and suck it up like a big boy, because that is what it is. Irv Smith Jr., 4 catches, 7 yards and a touchdown. Jelani Woods, Evan Ingram, David Njoku, tight end 11, 3 for 58 for Njoku. Jonnu Smith actually gets on the score sheet today, 2 catches for 61 yards. And those are your leaders of the day in week number 5 in the 1 p.m. time and 1 p.m. start. When we come back, we'll go over some final scores and we'll turn our sights to our 4 p.m. Eastern time starts. Also, get you ready for the continuation of the Bettor Zone coming up at 5 p.m. Eastern time with Holden Kushner and Pilar Lasher. We take our last break of the day right here on the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Sports Network.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network. It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
Moose and Keith with you. Let's welcome aboard right now, Ian Eagle.
One of the great stories that I have from doing notes on a plane, and you always get people looking over. They see color-coded uniform numbers, names, height, weight, age, background, hometown. And I had a woman sitting next to me on a flight, and I'm doing my notes, and she's kind of giving the look, then looking, and I can tell she's looking. And then finally, she'll say, so what is it that you do? Well, what do you think I do? She said, are you a wedding planner? I said, yes. I said, I have to put Rob Gronkowski at Tom Brady's table. I said, you know what? You're not correct, but it's the best answer I've ever heard.
That's great.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
As far as fantasy life, fantasy executive, a football life. The fantasy executive is probably going to be the best football life ever.
Who will be the guest? Everyone who was on yesterday, basically.
Yeah, everybody that's on yesterday will be the guest. Scott Ingram, you know what I'm saying? Adam Rodas. Yeah, everybody knows people. Because what Nando, obviously you'll be there. You know what I'm saying? We'll go to the GST and shoot some scenes. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice.
We'll shoot some scenes in Midtown Manhattan. Antonio Brown can be on my football life,
That'd
right?
be nice.
Because that's a big part of my comeuppance as a fantasy analyst. Everybody, the football life, the fantasy executive is going to be for the people. When they do the football life on the fantasy executive, I'm going to be hands on.
Good. Yeah. You talking to you.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Cheetos or Doritos?
I truly love both. Cool Ranch Doritos.
Wow.
I grew up on Cheetos. I was a big Chester Cheetah guy.
Oh, nice.
But Ray, as I have aged into adulthood, I've moved away from the fun that is the Cheeto, and I've gone to the, more cosmopolitan Cool Ranch Dorito chip. So I'm probably a Cool Ranch guy. How about you?
I would go Doritos. I don't like Cool Ranch. The traditional, original, regular, whatever it is really good. But my favorite's actually the sweet chili, the purple bag. Oh, it's delicious. It's fantastic.
Yeah. The one that sucks, and I think we can all agree on this one, taco.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things, and I'm perfect at a lot of things. My Dorito trivia is a little shaky.
Okay.
A little shaky. But I think taco is the first flavor.
Single high safety blitz coming. Burrow trying to step away from the rush. He does.
Get in.
Runs up the middle of the field to the
Joe.
10 for 5. Touchdown
Nice.
as Joe Burrow crosses the goal line. with the ball in his left hand, fully extended, goes into the back corner of the end zone and spins it like he's rolling dice.
Empty backfield for Trevor Lawrence. 3 right, 2 left. Trevor's going to keep it on a quarterback run into the end zone. Touchdown! Trevor Lawrence kept it himself and scored for the Jaguar. Atlanta strong to the right side. Here comes Zacchaeus in motion. Snap to Mariota. Marcus will keep it right side. Turn the corner. Touchdown Atlanta. Marcus Mariota. Beautifully executed. Beat San Francisco to the corner. Atlanta's got the lead with under a minute to go.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL Game Day. Get into the Bettor Zone. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
Quarterbacks getting it done. Touchdowns today. Audio courtesy of the Bengals, Falcons, and courtesy of the Bengals and Falcons radio network. 3-3 tie right now in Seattle and Jacksonville Jaguars radio network as well. Thank you, Trevor Lawrence, for that touchdown run. I misspoke earlier saying Pilar Lasher was coming up on the next program. That's on me. Greg Leonard will be hosting with Holden Cushion today. So they got you from 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then obviously things set back off tomorrow morning beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern time with Front Yard Fantasy as we wrap up this week and get you ready for Monday Night Football and another big week of NFL, Major League Baseball. Also, the NBA returns this week as well. So we got a lot of things going on the Bettor Network. We keep you busy. We keep you covered. We make sure that you get a couple dollars in your pocket as well. All right. Now, the biggest result of the day, Ronas, I think, is the Bengals 30-26 win over the Saints. A lot of people were on the Bengals this week. Bengals opened up a 1-point favorite. The number steamed all the way up to 3. The Bengals covered by 4.
Yeah, a lot of injuries for the Saints. So they had the lead, banged up in this one, and the Bengals, we talked about, really needed this game. Couldn't afford to fall to 2-4. So they even the record at 300, get a big game from Burrow and Chase, and much needed because couldn't get the ground game going. Mixon just 8 for 45 on the ground. T. Higgins, if you use them, in a PPR, you'll take it. 6 for 47 on 10 targets. He said after his ankle's about 85% right now.
And that's good for Higgins and everybody who got, like you said, if you had to use him, you got him out there. Now, was that a fumble in the Bills-Chiefs game? Or was that an incomplete pass?
Chiefs ball.
Chiefs ball.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that's the only James Cook, right? Was that James Cook?
No. Or was it? Yeah, it was a pitch. Oh, yeah. It was. Allen pitched it, and Cook was didn't expect it to come, and then tried to fall on it and could not. And the Chiefs defense recovers, and they already lost safety. Well, Justin Reed left the game. They're already banged up in the secondary. On the previous play, Diggs was wide open. Allen didn't see him. So no, that was Isaiah McKenzie. So why do you have him in the backfield?
Well, I was going to say, it looks like another one of my emergency starts. I'm not having the same luck here as Corey with his random Ravens running backs who get 30 fantasy points.
Interesting right there. This is the only way, in my opinion, that they're going to be able to stay in this game is if Buffalo make mistakes. You saw that Buffalo was already down in the red zone.
Well, and the thing, Corey, I saw someone put on Twitter, that's an overkiller. That's this is a high total, and when you bet the over, you don't really want turnovers inside the 20 like that. And as Rona said, apparently they missed Diggs for a touchdown the play before. So if you have the guts to bet the under in that game, you got a couple of things that went your way early.
I think this was an underplay all the way. I really
do. I'm just saying, when you look at the games they played last year, right? They were really high scoring.
I don't think Kansas City can score like that this year.
That's a good point.
I don't think Kansas City can score like that. Well, I guess we're about to find out, obviously. But I think this is like a 30-17 or something like that. Like I really think Buffalo can really dominate this team if they don't turn the ball over, particularly in the damn red zone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with Ronas. That's you know what that play is? That's we're thinking a little bit too much.
Yeah, man.
That's what that play is.
You got to get out your own way. That's ridiculous right there.
You have all these weapons and Singletary's been pretty good this year, man. I played as receiving prop because of the 2 games that they were competitive. He went over. It was only 20.5, and this is a game. The 3 other games were blowouts where he didn't go over, and I feel this will be a stay tight, and they're going to need Singletary. And we already mentioned earlier, Zach Moss is inactive today. So I don't know why you have McKenzie out there on that play, and you could see I don't know how many times they practiced the play.
That does not look like something that he was familiar with. Not
Right.
at all. That looked like he like, oh, we gonna do he like he popped in. I'm like,
wait, I get it on this play.
Yeah, he was looking like, oh my bad. I didn't really think y'all was going. We got running backs, you know what I'm saying? Like, New England Patriots 3-3 on the season. Big victory today, 38-15 over the Cleveland Browns. Tom, the Pats just do what they do, play defense, run the football, be efficient. Bailey Zappi gets another win. Listen, listen, these AFC matchups are going to be tough. It's not like it's Mac Jones versus Deshaun Watson. They'll get that next year. But the Patriots get a solid road victory, and they keep the ball, and they keep pushing the ball down the road.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I bet under on their win total, right? And my one worry was Belichick will outcoach 4 or 5 of these dopes. And he just whooped Campbell. I don't know what this guy's doing in Cleveland, to be honest with you. A couple of years ago, they're beating the Steelers in the playoffs. They give the Chiefs a really good run for their money in Kansas City. And since then, it's just been a disaster. So, listen, that's what's going to happen with New England. I still don't think they're good enough to do anything this year in terms of long term, but Belichick's going to outcoach some of these guys. But hey, how about this? 2 times in the next few weeks, we got Patriots Jets out of nowhere. That's going to be that's going to be 2 important games in the AFC.
Who would have thunk? You know what I'm saying? The Patriot Jet battle is going to be the marquee matchup. It's interesting. What a time to be alive. What a time. Speaking of the New York Jets, they come into Green Bay today, 7.5-point underdogs. The Packers did not show up at all. New York 27 runners, Green Bay 10. If you could put a finger on it, to me, they can't stop the run and they can't run the ball, right? What do you think is the problem with the Packers?
A lot. I actually thought this defense was going to be better. It hasn't been. They allowed 179 rushing yards today. They just didn't get Aaron Jones involved early. Like I said, I see them dropping back a lot, just taking shots downfield. Just seems like the offense is disjointed and broken right now.
Yeah. You know what? This parlay, interesting.
Once again, the Rams look like garbage.
Like the Rams. Yeah.
I mean, this is just they're trying 5 different running backs now. Henderson got to carry, Rivers got to carry, Michael Brown got to carry, Atwell got to carry. I mean, what are you doing? Meanwhile, on Carolina, McCaffrey, 6 carries, 52 yards, 4 receptions, 36 yards. So they're like, hey, you know what? We're just going to give McCaffrey the ball every play. Yeah, and that's probably a good idea. Christian McCaffrey getting it done so far in the early going for the Carolina Panthers. They try to. Is this the week Geno Smith has a bad game since now everyone's on him? He's the QB3 in the NFL.
I had to start him. I can answer that question. I had to start him in one of my leagues, so the answer to that would be yes.
I started him in one, and I have this would be the 3rd straight week, and the other one I just picked him up because I had Stafford and Lawrence, and because everyone was on the over on this game too. That was 50.5, and now it's 3-3 early in the second quarter.
Ron, so did Chubb just missed that prop, right?
Yeah, by a half. It was 18.5. He had 18 was his longest rushing yard. So it snapped the streak of 9 straight. So I kind of knew. I said, look, at some point it's going to end, but I'm going to keep playing it. So maybe I should have looked into the New England matchup more, but they've been vulnerable against the run. But I should have thought, hey, Belichick's going to do everything he can to stop this run and make Jacoby beat them. So next week the Browns have the Ravens. So I'll see.
That's a big game, another big game. You know what? Working grind knows his stuff. He said Belichick used to be a tight end coach with the Lions. Correct. That's where he started his career, is in Detroit under Ted Marchibroda. Brought him in there, and so working grind doing his homework over there.
There you go. Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts, big AFC South matchup. Number closed with the Colts laying 1.5. They successfully covered that 34-27. Also, low total in this one at 41.5. The over cashes with ease. Rocking chair winner if you had over 41.5. Miami and Minnesota. A lot of people was on Minnesota today, but then again, this was one of the heavier bet games, and it was well played on both sides. A lot of people was on the Dolphins. A lot of people was on the Vikings. If you pick the Viking side, ding, 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 you got the cash out, the winner right there, 24-16, Minnesota Vikings over the Miami Dolphins, and the over cashes in, no, the under cashes in this one right here. Yeah, under cashes in this one right here. Green Bay Packers, mentioned the Packers and the Jets already. Talked about the Bengals and the New Orleans Saints in that game. Now let's go to the Meadowlands and the New York.
Corey, you need the Panthers to win outright, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Rams just carted off left tackle Joe Noteboom was just carted off, and if you've seen their offensive line this year, that's not a good thing. So,
and you know what? The Panthers' strength is their front.
Is their front, correct? Yeah. So that's getting interesting. Now, do you win it if that is that the last leg?
This is the last leg right here. Yeah.
Wow, this is interesting. We might have to stay on a couple more hours and follow this baby.
Relax. I'm sorry. Send me a text.
Yeah, we gotta eat.
I'll
let you know what happens. You know what I'm saying? But no, it definitely.
Speaking of eating, now Corey, I want to know. Listen.
Yeah, there you go. I got a story. I got a couple stories. Yeah.
Yesterday's show, right? I talked about grilling the barbecuing the gator because we were on LSU. LSU gets it done, but you send me a picture. You're at South Carolina State. You're at homecoming, and they are serving gator sausage. Gator sausage. Yeah. Now, please tell me you had some gator sausage.
I did not have the stomach to try gator sausage, but as soon as, because I sent you a picture of that sign, but it was a sign on the other side, and it's like I'm walking up and I'm like, am I reading this wrong? Does this say gator sausage? So I was like, I had to tell Tom that we got a gator in the building. I would have brought one and froze it for you, but I don't think you were so interested in eating Travis Kelce.
No, I wanted you to eat it and let me know how it was.
Yeah, not going to happen. And you know who I did spend a couple moments with yesterday? Had a chance to talk to, catch up and talk to a dude that lived down the hall from me when I was in school, Chartrick Darby, longtime player, Buccaneers, but he made his career with the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, yeah. I got a homeboy who loves the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? And you know what he said to me? He said most Seahawk fans are like that. Like the Seahawks is like the best fan base in pro sports. He said that Seahawks fans really, really love their players. And I was like, Scott Engel loved the players too much. To his own detriment sometimes. But we ain't going to talk about that. Shout out to the King, Scott Engel. I got to call him and tell him I wanted to take a picture, but I didn't want to see like a groupie like Scott Ronas. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yo, I got a homeboy who was just like Seattle Seahawk crazy. So that was good times right there. New York Giants, Baltimore Ravens. Giants do what the Giants do, Tom. They hang close. Second half, they make the plays. They get the victory. Upset the Baltimore Ravens as 5.5-point dogs. They win the game outright. Total closed at, depending on where you got it, total closed around 43.5. That was a bad beat if you won the under 44 points scored in this game.
Yeah, and like we mentioned Providence, right, with the luck factor. But and Ronas mentioned the Giants against the spread. Remember during college basketball season, I used to tell you, Corey, I'm going to luck my ass all the way to the bank with this Providence team. They cover every game. So when it comes to money, it's irrelevant how you view the team. Are the Giants good? Are they lucky? I don't know, but they're mispriced in the market. Now, maybe that changes next week, but I looked at that line this week. I know a lot of people had the Ravens, but I did think the number was still a little off. So that's something to watch moving forward as we get into these weeks now, 6, 7, 8. Which teams are undervalued, right? Where are they misvalued? Obviously, the Jaguars we mentioned, they caught up with them, but are there going to be other teams here that are misvalued moving forward? That's the only way to beat the NFL. These odds are so tight.
Yep, no doubt. Kansas City Chiefs into first and goal territory right now. For the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes scrambles inside the 10-yard line. Big game, marquee matchup today in KC between the Bills and the Chiefs. Rematch of last year's AFC division round, right? That was not the championship round. Now it's division round. Yeah, because
not
the
the
Bengals.
championship round.
Because
No, it wasn't the championship
The
game.
Bengals
Yeah.
played the Chiefs.
It felt
in the
like a championship game.
It really did.
Yeah.
It really did. But that wasn't the case. So that's where we are right now. I already told you Pittsburgh Steelers as 9.5-point underdogs upset Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay and Survivor. Tough one right there. As you are now eliminated. Tampa Bay only scores 18 points. Pittsburgh behind Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky get the win. Najee Harris also got in the end zone. Tough sledding right now for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Interesting to see if they're turning it around.
Ronus, you might not have to do that Survivor article for much longer. I think everyone's going to be out in a couple weeks this season. Oh my God.
It definitely feels like it. It's been it's always difficult, but man, this year has been like any other that I don't remember seeing, man. It's been crazy.
Yeah, Ronus, let me ask you real quick, because this is a guy that's just got me scratching my head every week. What's going on with Allen Robinson? You don't pay guys that kind of money to bring them in and not throw. Is he not getting open? What's going on? I mean, 2 catches, 3 catches, under 25 yards. What is going on here?
You're still playing him?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh,
I was just thinking when I was watching the Rams game, like I saw him walking around in it, not catching a pass, but just walking around. And I wanted to ask you last week, but I wasn't here. Like, what's the problem? Is it him?
I think it's a combination of both. He might be done, which is surprising because they raved about him in camp. And
Red zone interception.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
So, like you said,
underbetters are loving life in this game.
Actually, Allen Robinson just caught a pass. So,
well, there you go. Reverse jinx. There you go.
Because I was actually considering playing the under on his yards this week, but I think it went down a lot. I think it was like around 40 the last couple weeks, but it went down further, so I did not. But I think part of it is the offensive line has been horrible. He's got no time to throw. His first read is always Cooper Kupp. Once he's covered, he's either getting sacked or throwing it away. The first week Robinson was getting open. A lot of the other times I don't see him getting open, and if it's more downfield, Stafford has no time to throw. So I think it's a combination of factors, but I did like Robinson before the year. I think I got him in a lot more best ball than redraft, but I can't play him. I mean, I have him in a 14-team league and leagues with 20 roster spots, so I'm kind of holding. There's not much on waivers, but there's no way he's coming close to my lineup until I see him do something. And I mean, it's Higbee. It's Higbee and Kupp really right now that are the only guys there that are doing anything.
Ronis, I already know Tom's answer to this, but Ronis, do you factor line movement on the day of the game into your betting analysis?
It depends what it is. Like I said, I did with San Fran. Most of the week I like San Fran, but then I started to look, saw the line moving, and I'm like, you know what? They have too many injuries on defense that I have to take into account at this point. Bosa out. So I did in that sense. But that was a reason for that. It wasn't just the movement. It was just like, you know what? They have too many defensive injuries, and this could be a problem. And they're on the road, and they're a team that, you know, can play a lot of competitive games. I know they covered last week, but that was Carolina, who sucks, and Atlanta's been competitive and has hung in there. So I think it's circumstance. It depends on the circumstance.
Philadelphia Eagles now 7-point favorites at FanDuel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
well, dejection.
Here's my one issue with the game, right? Like I believe it was Rex Ryan who said it this morning. Like pass rush, Parsons ranked number 1. Against the run, he's ranked like 110th. My worry is that the Eagles are built to give the Cowboys defense problems because they can go heavy to Parsons' side and just try to run the heck out of the ball. And without Dak, like Ronis has said a million times, the offense isn't doing much. So it's not like the Eagles might be playing from behind. I worry about them striking first, playing from ahead, and then just bullying that defensive line.
That's where Philadelphia is excellent. When they're playing from
you always
ahead,
say it. Play it from ahead.
Very good. The Eagles, when the Eagles get on top of you, it's hard to let off. And then their defense is so well improved, especially in the trenches, that it really makes it difficult to get anything going. And, you know, I meant to mention this earlier, Tom. One of the things that Dak can help with when he comes back is making the defense better by staying on the field longer. You know what I'm saying? And that's.
I think this is a game where they miss Dak. Personally, I hope the Cowboys
no
win,
doubt about
this
it.
is the game where they miss him.
No doubt about it.
This can get. I think this can. I hope this don't get carried away tonight.
Yeah, I hope they at least stay competitive, man.
Yeah. We don't sound optimistic.
We're talking about we're in rough shape over here. We're talking about the 4-1 Cowboys, hoping they can stay competitive. I mean, can they? Let's not get embarrassed out there, right?
Yeah. And meanwhile, the 5-1 Giants fans are throwing a parade.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, unbelievable.
We got to do something about them. That's I can't even check my phone right now.
Well, they're in Jacksonville next week. Are they going to be favored?
Man. Or if the Giants are a short road favorite, I would
dog.
Right.
Giants will be a short dog.
Oh, you say a short dog? Okay.
I think
I'm about to
so.
say if they're a short favorite, then I would hop on Jacksonville if they're a short favorite.
I think right now the market's higher on Jacksonville, and I think they'll start to buy into the Giants. But on the road, that's going to be kind of an even matchup, I think, in their power rankings. And I think you'll see Jacksonville open at 1.5, 2-point favorites.
That's going to be interesting. That is definitely going to be a line that I'm going to look out for as we move throughout the course of the week. Right quick, talked about the Cowboy thing, getting ready to come up on 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's when I don't want to mess up the young man's name, Holden Kushner and Greg Leonard, whatever. I'm sorry, Greg Leonard will take over the Bettor Zone. You laughing at me, Ronas? You know what I'm saying? I don't know,
Corey. Corey, you're acting like you've been on the air for 4 straight hours. What's wrong with you?
I don't know, Greg Ronas. I'm sorry. My goodness. Loser board. These are the players that did not have a good day today, and some of them are going to be people that might be in your lineups. You luckily didn't start Brissett, who was terrible, or Andy Dalton, but Kareem Hunt. 4 carries for 12 yards for Hunt. Yep. That's right here.
Go ahead. I can probably just read you off my fantasy.
Yeah, there you go. Man, Kareem Hunt, terrible day.
I started him in multiple leagues, man. That sucked. I mean, I looked at it too. I'm like, his floor's high every week. He's had like at least 9 points in PPR formats every week. But today, they fell behind, and even Nick Chubb didn't have a big day, and we're used to seeing that. I think it might be the first time this year he went under his rushing yard prop.
Yeah, Chubb normally gets it done. Aaron Jones did not get it done today. 9 carries for 9. Geez, Tom, for real? Same team?
Same team. And I'm playing my son. He's pounding me into the ground like a nail.
Man,
and he's an Eagles fan, so I got this could be a tough day for me.
Yeah, no doubt. I can at least reply to my son now. How y'all looking? You know what I'm saying? Y'all better watch out.
That's going to be, listen, it's too bad because it happened in the first week, but nothing's ever going to beat that on this show for the rest of the season.
Who would have thought, too? So we have 3 games after 4 o'clock. We have yet to see a touchdown in any of them.
Yeah, and
and one of them's Chiefs Bills.
Yeah, and the other is Seahawks Cardinals with a total of 50.
With 2 awful defenses.
Did Matthew Stafford just throw an interception, or that pass hit the ground?
Yeah, I think I don't know if there was a flag or something.
Oh, okay, there you go. So
you're live.
Defensive pass interference.
In this game, Corey.
Defensive pass interference.
So.
And then there was a penalty on LA for holding offsetting. So they replay.
Man, I tell you what, if that parlay hit, that'd be crazy right there. Some other people that did not do that well today. Devin Duvernay, 1 catch for 14 yards. Drake London, 3 catches for 40 yards. Duvernay, I saw somebody put on Twitter earlier this week, it's Duvernay season. Not quite yet Duvernay season. It's more like the fall. It's more like the fall. You know what I'm saying? It's not Duvernay season yet. Maybe that come on sometime in December after the turn. I can see the playoffs possibly being Duvernay season, but let's not get carried away. Drake London, 3 for 40. That Falcons offense not really up to speed with a lot of their weapons, but Mariota did get the job done today. CJ Azuma, 2 for 17, and Hayden Hurst, 3 for 21s. Tight end continues to be a tough position. We do have a field goal in Seattle. Seahawks go up 6-3 over the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have been a second-half team this season. Interesting to see if they'll get it going. So that's where we're at. Pretty good day today. I want to thank everybody for rocking with us. Good luck, everybody, on your wages tonight. Make sure you keep it right here for Greg and Holden coming up for part 2 of the Bettor Zone. They take you up to 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're back 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Live content, front yard fantasy, Moose and Keith, lunch money with Kyle and Ray, Corey, Nando, and friends. The parlay could be hit. The playbook with Fenstey and Ronan, so on and so forth. The Bettor Zone all day. fantasy football, betting, collectibles. We got you covered, whatever the case may be. Good luck, everybody, and how about them Cowboys? Let's go!
Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy,
Burrow in the gun, Mixon to his left.